folks, once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I got a moment to get some of my equipment up, and some of the equipment is not on. But I want to start out by asking you guys a simple question. Now, for my YouTubers that were watching me on the warm up screen, I'm getting ready to the program. You've already heard what I'm about to ask, but that is, do you believe the liberals are being too hard on Trump? The media, the mainstream media, you name it, the whole kit and caboodle. Do you believe the mainstream media and the liberals alike are being too tough on Trump? Maybe via misinformation. You know, some folks are going to talk about the whole Trump derangement syndrome and how that shit works. You name it. Are they being too tough on Trump? I want to get your opinion in regards to that, because I get hammered on the show. Folks on the show even suggest, like, man, all you liberals do is attack President Trump. So I want to hear from you folks. Do you believe that that is the case? And I'm going to ask right off the bat, from what angle? Like, what is it about, you know, because keep in mind, Trump attacks a lot of folks himself. So certainly, if you're out there in the game, folks are going to also suggest that, you know, you can't be dishing it if you don't want to take it. So we're going to talk about that from that angle. But that ain't even what's in the news. But I do want to hear from you folks, because I get a lot of criticism via my own inbox, my direct message, all of that, about you guys are always trashing Trump. You're too hard on him. So I do want to hear from you folks on that. But we got a few other topics that are actually in the news I want to run by you in addition to that. And if you think I'm too hard on Trump, certainly put it in the comments, and we'll certainly end up talking about that as well. And by the way, we're going to be on Clapper today, as opposed to Instagram. I'm trying out these other social media platforms. In addition to that, I want to ask you folks this. Now, Trump is going to be meeting with Vladimir Zelensky of the Ukraine. I believe, is it tomorrow or this weekend or next week? Very short, very soon. I should have had the damn day confirmed before I came on live. But he's going to be meeting with Zelensky of Ukraine. He's already made it clear NATO is not going to happen, which is to the surprise of no one. I think we all knew that Trump had no intentions of letting the Ukrainians join NATO. But in addition to that, we all are aware he's talking about taking 50% of the Ukrainians' rare earth minerals. And not only are they not allowed to join NATO, we're offering them zero in regards to security promises. We're not giving them anything. We're telling them the rare earth minerals you're giving us is payback for how much we've helped you so far. Right in the middle of a time when their whole country is in shambles from being attacked for 3 straight years. It's been 3 years as of this month that war began. So I'm going to ask a simple question. Are we ripping off the Ukrainians? Do you think this is a fair deal right now when they got probably billions of dollars needed to rebuild their country? Do you think we may be ripping them off? Or do you favor what Trump is doing? Shit, we sent you guys weapons. Pay us back. You can fix your country and all of that shit later. We want to, fuck you, pay me, I believe is the phrase. So I do want to hear from you folks. Do you favor what Trump is doing in regards to demanding that? I don't know, something is off over here. Don't know what it is, but my entire background is all jacked up. We'll see if it works. Okay, so we'll talk about that as well. Additionally, while my equipment is all jacked up here, this one is funny. This one is funny, but it might bring out a few haters. This one may bring out a few haters, but I'm loving it because I actually think it's worthy. But I'll have you guys correct me as always. You know I don't block, ban, or censor, but I might get some choice words thrown at me when I put this on the screen. But remember these two chicks right here, if my computer works fast enough to bring them on the screen. Remember these two ladies, Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman? These are the ones that were being accused of passing around USB drives like vials of crack. They worked at a polling place, I believe down in Georgia. And Rudolph Giuliani accused them of essentially helping the Democrats steal the election. Said they were passing around USB drives like vials of crack at a polling place. And I think many of you folks are aware they went on to sue Rudolph Giuliani, suggesting that not only did he say they cheated in the election, to the ire of MAGA, pissed off a hell of a lot of MAGA that believe they were part of the whole stop the steal. They were part of stealing the 2020 election. So these women were receiving death threats and everything. And of course, Giuliani went all over cable news media and actually called them out by name. So they got a lot of death threats because at the end of the day, people believe they were participating in trying to overthrow democracy by stealing an election. So they sued Giuliani, won a ridiculously large settlement, $148 million he was ordered to pay. Why the hell am I bringing this whole story up? He paid them. He has paid them. I don't know if it's in full, but the courts are now saying that the case against him, the term they're using is fully satisfied. Now, obviously, he could make some kind of offer, look, I owe you $148 million. Here is X. If you're happy with X, we can consider this fully satisfied. But make no mistake about it, if he owed them $148 million, he didn't just give them a few dollars. Point I'm trying to bring up, these two chicks are rich. These two ladies are fucking rich. Even if he only gave them $10 million apiece, which I highly doubt they would have knocked a lawsuit from $148 million down to 20 or whatever the lawyers, plus or minus the lawyer's fee. But these two chicks are fucking rich because of Rudolph Giuliani making up some shit about the 2020 election. That judgment, according to the courts and many articles all over the place, it is listed as fully satisfied. That just happened day before yesterday. So he paid these chicks off $148 million. Now, I don't believe Giuliani had the money. We'll talk about that. He was doing all kinds of twists and turns, saying he didn't have the money. He filed bankruptcy and all of that, trying to get out of paying them. The bankruptcy was thrown out by a judge because he was hiding assets and doing all kinds of underhanded shit, and the courts caught him. So his attempt at bankruptcy did not succeed. And let's be clear, Giuliani's been rich for a very long time. So trying to pretend like you are living in a state of impoverishment, not to pay these women off, means that you cannot live the lavish lifestyle that you used to live in. So you are, you ever heard the phrase, it's gonna hurt me more than it hurts you? So you gotta really downgrade your life because you don't want the courts to know you got money. So my guess is, that wasn't working well with Giuliani. So where would he likely have gotten the money from? My humble opinion, Trump is awash in cash right now. Trump is incredibly wealthy. He's incredibly successful after being reelected. He's affiliating now with the richest man on the planet, Elon, the second richest man on the planet, Jeff Bezos. He's on friendly terms with Mark Zuckerberg, another rich fuck. It wouldn't surprise me if in assistance to an old friend, Trump went and found some of that money to help Giuliani out, because that's the only reason Giuliani got in that trouble to begin with, along with Mike Lindell, Sidney Powell, and the rest of them, is that they all bit the bullet to help Trump and pay for it dearly. So my guess is, and I'm just speculating, 100%, I don't know shit on this, but I'm speculating that Trump may have helped out Giuliani. I don't think Giuliani had $148 million or even a significant amount to settle with these two chicks. Let's say they took 70 or 80 million. I don't think Giuliani was able to pull that off. I think he got it from somewhere. But at the end of the day, regardless of where it came from, these two chicks are rich. That's a lottery winning. That's akin to a lottery winning, except for life. So shout out to them while they're sitting on the beach somewhere in Tahiti or Fiji somewhere, sipping Mai Tais and spending money like it's no tomorrow. So shout out to these two ladies. I wanted to bring that to you, but nevertheless, getting back to the actual story, one last topic. There's a lot of topics here today. There's always a lot of news in the era of Trump. What do you feel? How do you feel about being able to purchase citizenship? President Trump is suggesting that for $5 million, You can buy your way into America. Now, if you're poor and you sneak across the border and you have a kid while being undocumented, your ass got to go home. No matter how long you may have been here under the radar, you got to go home. But if you got 5 million, you don't ever have had to have been here before. We still might be able to find a way to let you in. Whatever happened to the whole thing about come here legally and wait in line with everybody else? You think the people paying 5 million bucks are gonna wait in fucking line? What say you? So that's how the program is gonna run today. You know what we always do. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Liberals are welcome on the program. Nevertheless, MAGA is always my preferred guest. So we go left of Bernie Sanders, Trump having dinner with Q. So feel free to come on up. Looking straight in the comments, Trump's offering gold cards to rich people who want to be American citizens. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So if you're trying to get a green card, which has nothing to do with being wealthy at all, that's what the poor people try to get, is a green card. It can take a decade or more to get a green card. How long do you think it's going to take if you show up to the border with $5 million pursuing a gold card? You think it's going to take you a decade to get in? Remember, we're all about coming legally and waiting in the back of the line like everybody else. Do you think that's going to happen with this green or this gold card system? Because that's what we're all about. We're about fairness, right? So looking in the comments, immediate entrance says Big Dog. Yeah, that's I tend to think the same. Draco says stop the cap. Draco, you don't add anything. You can, look, if you think I'm getting it wrong, damn it, I'm 100% in appreciation of you pointing out some shit. But point out some shit. Just simply saying stop the cap. Okay, cap on what? Add something to the program, Draco. Thank you for your input. But add something to your comment. Put some meat and potatoes on the plate. Just saying you're getting it wrong without telling me what the hell you're talking about is meaningless. Going straight to the box, we'll go to Chief Cook. Is that MAGA Mission? I love the name there, MAGA Mission. Chief Cook, good evening. Welcome to the program. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah. So what do you think? You think the media, you think the left are too hard on Trump?
Of course. Everybody hates Trump.
Why do you think that?
What he says and what he does, they see the guy.
Why do you think that is?
They can't control him. He doesn't follow the rules. Their rules. He's a real outsider.
Do you?
I mean outsider because he didn't know. No one has ever done. Every politician come to Washington. I'm an outsider. Well, he's the real deal. And they just don't like it. They don't like his hair, his face, God knows what.
Okay, what is your definition of an outsider? I'm trying to cue in on it. What do you mean by an outsider?
Someone outside Washington came in and stirred a pot.
When Obama came in and gave everybody universal health care or allowed gays to get married, is that not stirring the pot? That wasn't the norm?
That was the norm too, yeah, but he was not outside. He's still an insider. He just came to know.
But that's what I'm trying to find out. What is your definition of an outsider? Because I asked you that and you gave me an example, and I'm telling you where Obama did the same thing, but you see him as an insider. So what's making Trump an outsider?
He's been in Washington, I don't know how many years he's been when he was a couple of years senator, then he became president.
He was a senator for 2 years. He was a senator for 2 years.
2 years he was insider, then he became president.
Yeah.
Trump is totally outside, came out of nowhere, beat like 8 people, 9 people in the first debate for Republicans, and beat them, beat Hillary, became president, and no one thought, no one thought that would happen. It happened.
Yeah.
So he was a real outsider.
Well, but you know when.
Let's go back. Ross Perot was the first. I think he didn't took till between legs and ran out. He could have been the first.
Yeah. I would understand what you're saying on Ross Perot, but you say Trump came in as an outsider, he beat Hillary, nobody thought that would happen. Nobody thought Obama was going to beat Hillary Clinton either. That's why I'm using Obama as an example. Now, Obama was a senator, you're rightfully pointing out, for 2 years, But I think you're excluding the fact that Trump hung around Washington insiders for years. I mean, he was at Hillary and Bill Clinton's wedding. Donated money to hold on. He donated money to hold on, hang on. He donated money to Jesse Jackson's campaign. I mean, he been hanging around Rudolph Giuliani.
Yeah, he had inside goods, but he's still the outsider because he was still the outsider. Even the late great Rush Limbaugh said, when you step into the arena, you better step in the lion's den.
Well,
He just kept himself apart. He just kept himself out.
but I'm still not getting clarity on what is an outsider. This guy was affiliating with all sorts of politicians. What is an outsider?
I understand that. I'm understanding that. When I say the outsider, he still had a little bit hand in the bucket, a little bit, but he didn't stay in Washington. He didn't leave in Washington. He didn't always hang around with people in Washington and everything, until he decided to run.
Neither did Obama. Obama didn't hang around. Obama didn't hang. Wait, hold on. Obama wasn't known to hang around Washington and all that. Obama went from community organizer all the way to the top in a matter of a couple years or so. So I don't see how you're seeing Obama as an insider, and Trump, who's at weddings, he's at the correspondence dinner when Obama's. He's all over Washington. I don't see how he's getting a pass on that.
Yeah, but he knew people. I mean, both of them knew people. But like I said, when as soon as you move in and became a senator, you became part of that club. Everybody keeps saying the club again. So when you became a senator or became a congressman, you in that club now. Trump is not part of that club. He went straight to the presidency and won it. So that's why I said I think he's with. Yeah. If he came like a senator or something like that, I think he was part of that special group like this because I have my men there anyway.
He donated money.
He knows people. He knows how to talk to people.
Yeah, here's why I'm not. Here's why I'm just so confused on this. Okay, I mentioned going to Hillary and Bill Clinton's wedding. He donated money to Kamala Harris's campaign, by the way. He donated money to Jesse Jackson's campaign, by the way. He's at the Obama correspondence dinner. How many outsiders get to go up into places like that? I mean, he's all over the place. Where you would assume this guy has the inside scoop on Washington. I don't see how anybody would have that much access and be viewed as an outsider.
The rich and powerful. Like I say, I'm saying, he knew people, rich and powerful, he knew people, somebody knows somebody. Because that's how the town works. Know somebody. So that's what he did. Know somebody.
He is somebody. No, he don't know somebody that knows somebody. He is the person. He himself is the person.
That group. Yeah, he's part of that social group. Like I say, somebody the group because he got no money and stuff like that. Yeah, he's part of that group. But he still came out of nowhere. Said, I'm gonna run. Everybody thought it was a joke. Everybody started laughing at him. Everybody started making fun of him. Including Obama, all the people, night people in night groups and everything. All the late night groups, everybody said it. They make fun of him. And out of the blue, he won. Excuse me.
Yeah, we're not arguing about him winning. We're having a debate about him not being an insider. I'm just simply saying, if you look at Trump's history with Giuliani, you look at the fact that he's a real estate. Hold on. He's a real estate mogul in one of them in the largest city in this country that has all sorts of corruption in it in New York. The only way you get to own all of those properties and you get around the unions and the mob is you have to politic. It just baffles me to see Trump as an outsider, yet he's got hundreds of photos in places that only insiders get.
Well, I must lose my voice. What I'm trying to say is, okay, how many offices has he run for? I know you ran before as a Democrat, you didn't win, so he switched. So he switched. So he could stay out there. He could stay like I'm not gonna do it, but something changed his mind, and he did it. But he still did something that no person has not done. He beat the number.
No argument there.
In the universe.
No argument there.
Yeah, he still beat the Queen Bee. Okay, he thought she gonna win. Everybody gonna this, and he just shook the tree.
No arguments there.
That's what it is.
Yeah, no arguments there. The only issue I'm saying is you're saying he's an outsider. You don't have to be a politician to be an insider. You're making it sound like, well, because he never had any political office, he's an outsider. You don't. If you're hanging around everybody, you got interns in Washington that are insiders. If you got access, you're an insider. You don't need to. I mean, Peter Doocy or Steve Doocy of Fox News that is always asking those questions at the press briefings. He's not a politician, but he's an insider. He's showing up at the parties and everything.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Doocy is a Democrat. We Trump anyway, and so is.
Whoa! He's a what?
You know he's a Democrat. I mean, wait a minute, not Doocy, the other guy from CNN. What the guy name?
You talking about Cuomo?
Huh?
Who you talking about? Cuomo or somebody?
Come on, I forgot the guy name from CNN. For him, the guy who just quit a couple months ago, who always interrupt Trump every time they get. I'm trying to remember his name. I'm trying to remember.
Don Lemon?
Lucy from CNN, for Fox and CNN. I forgot the two different guys.
Okay, yeah, I know you're in a different conversation with that. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to be a politician to be an insider. It sounds like the only evidence of being an outsider you have of Trump is he wasn't holding political office. You got to have more than that. If you can walk into anybody's office, you got people's personal phone numbers.
Well, not average Joe Bloke, and I can see and get up and say, I'm gonna run for office and come president. And say, yes, we have people almost there. Like I said, Ross Perot was almost one. Ralph Nader almost one. People who see things going wrong and they see and say, no, they've been there too long. Trump is one of those people. I seen it. I see how they work. I know how they work. You know, I can get things done because I'm a politician. I mean, I'm not a politician, but I'm a businessman. I know and I think the country should be run like a business. Now, see, this career politician goes in and be there for God knows how long, and nothing happens, and they stop pointing fingers. And Trump came out, like I said, he came out of nowhere.
Why are you saying? Wait, hold on.
Good, the bad, the ugly.
Why are you saying why are you saying he came out of nowhere? You got videos of Oprah asking him about running for office back in. Hold on. You got videos of Oprah asking him about running for office back in the 1980s. It's not like he went. Hang on. It's not like he went to Washington. Nobody knew who the hell this guy was, and he rose to power. That's what Obama did. Trump's been known since the 1970s. In political circles. All the politicians knew him already.
Yeah, but how many people did what he did?
That don't mean he's an outsider, though.
So you think he's an insider but not an outsider?
Oh, yeah. You got people. Wait, hold on. Listen. Is it Chief or Chef? Chief?
Yeah.
Chief.
Either one.
Okay. You got people's personal phone numbers. You know where people actually live. You've been to their houses. You're at their weddings. You're donating. You're an insider. When they raising money, they're actually calling you to try to get something because they're used to getting it from you. How the hell is that an outsider?
I agree with you. I agree with you saying. No. Like I said, you know somebody knows somebody. Washington's like that. You know somebody knows somebody. Your friends, hang out, buddy, drinks like this. Yeah, you know somebody. But still, he doesn't stay in Washington. He doesn't live in Washington. He doesn't play around. Yeah, they may play golf once around, talk deals and stuff like that. But still, yes, he tried to run a couple years ago as a Democrat, but then failed. But still, he came out of.
He didn't come out of nowhere. Is Ron DeSantis an outsider too?
Who?
Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida.
He was there too. Yeah. I think he's the insider.
But he don't live in Washington, as you said. You got to live in Washington.
He was a senator. He was a congressman. He was senator, so he knows how it works. But he became governor. I'm saying that once you go in Washington, come up one of those people, you came one of them. You like Mitch Smith. Mitch Smith go to Washington. You go to Washington, and what did John McCain say? I came to Washington and changed things, and Washington changed me.
Yeah.
Those people like that.
Yeah, like I said, if I wanted to go to a party or a big gala in Washington, I know I could have called Trump in the 80s and 90s and he could get me. I mean, the idea that he's an outsider, he can get you access to anything going on in Washington.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But that's an outsider. Did I lose you? All right, Chief. Apparently you got a phone call. I'm moving on. Come on back through anytime. Yeah, apparently you got. No, you sound like you came back in one. But anyway, always open. Let me move on with the program. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the lights on up to 10,000. You guys are making me feel like a damn outsider here. Tap the screen. Get the lights up to about 10,000. I want you all to be insiders. You know how the program is ran. I mean, I've heard a lot. He's not the only one. I may be giving this a chuckle, but he's not the only one that has said often that Trump is an outsider. And I'm just, it baffles me because he got access to all the major players. You can call Fox News and they'll pick the phone up anytime you call. It just doesn't come across as an outsider to me. I mean, but it's certainly not now. I mean, Trump came down the golden escalator in 2015. Here we are in 2025, and people still saying he's an outsider? Really? Okay, looking at the comments though, DeSantis was a congressman, not a senator. Thank you, Aaron, appreciate that. No, he's lying. He's a lying roach. Damn. You guys are mean in the comments. In other words, there's Marvel Associates, and in his mafia, you're either part of the family or you're not. You could be associated. I don't know what you mean by that. Somebody asked an interesting question though. Suggested that if he said this came from Creed. If he is such an insider, why did they try to kill him? To lie, I could come up with a million answers on that. You ever knew somebody that if they had a nefarious or a bad ending, you found yourself said, I don't know who might have taken this person out. They got so many enemies. When you say if Trump is an insider, why would somebody have tried to take his life? Well, you're doing all sorts of things that are causing misery to people. I mean, everything from Muslim bans. I mean, obviously now he's firing the people, you know, some of them federal employees may want him taken out. Maybe somebody lost their health care because of some of his actions. I mean, there could be a million things why somebody may try to put a hit on him at this point. I mean, I'm sure nobody in Gaza likes him. I'm sure most people in the Ukraine don't like him anymore. It could be a million reasons why somebody... Listen, in our country, because folks believe and favor what Trump is saying, they tend to think that anything he's saying is the gospel truth. I get it. But Trump makes it sound like it was the liberals trying to take him out. It could be a whole host of folks. I mean, how many Republicans have lost their job because of Trump? From Liz Cheney's to Adam Kinzinger's. You think some of them folks wouldn't be a tad bit delighted if something happened? I mean, it ain't just the liberals that are after this guy. So when you ask the question if he's an insider, why would they try to take him out? I hate to sound like part of the LGBTQ community, but you got to define who they is. It could be anybody. Get your pronouns right. It could be anybody. That guy's pissed off a lot of people. A lot of people. At this point, one of the Capitol Police officers might have it in for him, for the pardons he handed out. It could be anybody. So I don't know why they tried to take him out, because you got to first tell me who they is, because he has such a huge enemy base. And like I said, all of these folks he's firing now in the federal government, that base is getting bigger. I mean, now the cartels are not going to like him because he's deemed them a terrorist outfit. I mean, it could be anybody. Military officials, FAA officials, yeah, it could be anybody. It could literally be anybody. He literally, you ever had a boss come to the job and say, I'm not here to make friends? And then you notice everybody hates that guy? You came in, you made a bunch of enemies. That's what happens. Appreciate it, whatever that says, they're hot something. Thank you for the graphics. They're hot, that kind of like, I think it says, appreciate it. And the hat and mustache, I wanted to give a shout out and thank you for that as well. Somebody else sent that while I was making the point there. But thank you. Moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, get the lights on up. I do want to make sure I don't miss out on the super chat. Lim. Everyone loved Trump until he ran as a Republican. He was always in rap songs, gave Jesse Jackson a building for free. I've never heard that part. I know he allegedly helped Jesse Jackson with his presidential campaign, but he said he gave Jesse Jackson a building for free to help the Rainbow Coalition. That's Jesse Jackson's group there. He ran with us Even his fiance was black. Lonely at the time. I'm not aware that President Trump was gonna marry a black woman. I gotta put the brakes on that. Thank you for the super chat, Elim. Real quick in response to some of that, and thank you for your generosity. You're correct. Everybody did love Trump until he ran as a Republican. But running as a Republican, yeah, that's going to come with its own hater squad. But it's in my opinion. This is where you get to correct me. You know, I don't block banner citizens. You can correct me all you want in this program. But it's the things he said. It's some of the stuff he has said. I mean, like for instance, right now, getting rid of DEI, getting rid of affirmative action. I can tell you this, when the rap community was making songs about him and things like that, if he was going around saying that back then, they wouldn't have been favoring him like that. If he was publicly on TV saying that we need to get rid of affirmative action in DEI, or if he was saying that a woman should not have a right to choose, it should be left up to the states, he wasn't saying that stuff back then. So your question is legit, Elim, about people loved Trump before he ran for president. But it's also because of what he started doing after becoming president. I could easily suggest that everybody, the folks on the right loved the Dixie Chicks until they started criticizing Bush for the Iraq War. Taylor Swift is another example in modern times. The right had no problem with the country girl Taylor Swift. She's into pop music now, but until she started criticizing Trump, the right loved her. So there is some cancel culture involved when you start expressing your politics. I'll tell you this also. Elon Musk had a lot more friends before he got into politics. That's what happens. You get involved in politics and you start ostracizing people on one side of the aisle or another. How many folks say the same thing about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem? You start losing people. You start getting involved in politics. It comes at a cost. Trump got involved in politics. He is no different than any other celebrity that went from enjoying a wide celebrity fan base to getting involved in politics and chopping off of half of his fan base. He don't get a pass. He's just like everybody else we criticize that does it. But thank you, Elam. But continuing on with the program, Trump was encouraging more firing today. Yeah, I don't know where that's going to stop at. Damn, they firing a lot of people. I don't know where that's going to stop at. Did we really, this is where maybe your opinion is different than mine on this. Did we really have that many unnecessary employees in the federal government? You could get rid of like 1 million fucking people or whatever it's been. How many tens of thousands of people? Did we really have that many unnecessary people working in the federal government? If the country continues running smoothly, Trump deserves a huge accolade. If he can continue running the country smoothly, get the economy back on track, we remain a superpower and all of that shit, after getting rid of tens of thousands of people, he deserves credit for getting rid of all that waste. He will have proven we had way too many people working for the federal government. We'll see about that, though. It's only been a month. Only been a month as of Monday, so let's see if he can keep that going. But that's a lot of people he's gotten rid of. A lot of people. Going back to the box. And thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Get the likes on up. It helps out the algorithm. You know what I always say. It brings in more MAGA. Speaking of which, MAGA Mission. Good evening. Welcome to the program. MAGA, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So, what am I getting wrong? What am I getting wrong with this?
Where you get, well, you talked about so many different things. I did catch that Muslim ban quip, and yeah, a lot of people would disagree with you on that one. But
no, let's cover that. I'll give you plenty of time. Hold on. I'll give you plenty of time to discuss those other issues. But real quick, what would you disagree about what I said on the Muslim ban?
Well, we can get to that. I wanted to go to the opener, which was the Gold Express card for Visa Express Gold card, Trump card. So the only difference between an immigrant that comes here that's seeking asylum and maybe crosses the border illegally is they're not bringing $5 million to the economy. Okay, so when you talk about
streamlining somebody that wants to do business in America, bring money to America, decrease the national debt, add funds to America's wealth upon day one. So when you look at the cost of illegal immigration and the money that we've been spending, there's a net loss there. People say they pay taxes, they contribute. They don't contribute as much as they cost us every year to have people that aren't bringing $5 million upon entry. So, I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily like the pay-to-play aspect of it, and I know that's what turns people off from it. But when you really look at it and you say, okay, this is somebody who doesn't need us financially. They're only going to contribute to our wealth and our income and decrease our national debt. Well, that's a win. That's a migrant that wants to come to America and do business in America and contribute to us versus somebody that just is going to come and they have their hands out upon entry. I mean,
hold on, let me respond to that.
Brother.
Yeah, in regards to the suggestion that this is, they got $5 million bucks. This is somebody that's not going to cost us. They're going to come and contribute. I'll tell you this. I guarantee you, Bin Laden would have happily paid that $5 million. He would have came and contributed a few things.
Come on, they're going to be vetted. We're not going to be doing this.
Oh,
We're not going to be allowing terrorists.
Says who? Wait, hold on. If you got Obama or you got Biden, you claim they didn't vet people. You just assume that Trump's going to vet everybody. You just assuming that with $5 million. You think Elon Musk was vetted? Hold on. Elon Musk never had a federal background check or anything. He hasn't been vetted.
What are you talking about? He has the highest clearances that you've ever seen.
Yeah, because they gave it to him. You're right. They just gave it to him. Just like Jared Kushner. They were going to deny him access to the White House, and Trump said, no, we're going to give it to him.
Like with everything, you have to assess and mitigate risk.
Okay? Right, like Bin Laden. Bin Laden could get around that risk too.
Wait, let's talk about Elon. Is Elon a national security threat?
We don't know. We never vetted him.
Well, we don't know. But the assessment, the risk assessment says the chances of him being a threat to us is low. So that's why.
Based on what? Why is the risk assessment suggesting that Elon is low?
You just brought up Elon. I'm saying there was a risk assessment, and it was probably assessed that there was no risk there, and that's why he was given the clearances that he got.
No, I guarantee you wouldn't.
How else would he get those clearances? If there was a chance that he could do harm, or that he might be doing harm, or that he's up to no good, and they wouldn't give him the clearances.
You're talking about clearances coming from a guy who let Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin come into the country. Trump is going to make sure those clearances go through. Those clearances are trustworthy.
We jump from Elon to Kim Jong-un.
Now, what I'm saying is that Trump is going to make the clearances go through, whether they go through or not. I mean, this guy thinks the leader of the Proud Boys is a patriot. I mean, he's gonna make them go through.
Well, I just don't see Elon Musk as a national security threat.
Why not?
Honestly, I don't.
Why not?
And when people talk about Trump being an outsider, he was a lifelong Democrat. You know that. He contributed to Democrat Party efforts. Jesse Jackson. When people say he's a racist, well, he also chartered flights for Nelson Mandela and his whole entourage. So he's done a lot of things that people don't really give him credit for or don't even know that he did. So this outsider comment, I think that it's
crazy.
It's a shock that he's running on that he ran on the Republican ticket. That's the only outsider shocker there. The guy was always rubbing elbows with politicians and knew very well the inner workings of politics.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
We agree with that. Yeah, he's an outsider. Yeah, he's an outsider to the Republican Party. He's not an outsider to politics. You and I agree on that 100%.
Yeah. I understand the aversion to people with the gold card system, but if you do the math, if you were to actually have enough people purchase that or do that or buy in, so to speak, to get fast track to citizenship, is it fair? Some would argue it's cutting in line.
It ain't remotely fair. It's basically pay to play.
Right. here's the goal. I think Trump's goal is to be his goal, his eye is set on that national debt. I think he is trying to figure out any angle, everything that he could think of to bring in revenue to take out that national debt and go down in history as a president that does it.
If you go down in history,
and grow, he's doing everything he can to take it, at least put a dent in it.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you focus on the national debt and you go down in history as the first person to lower the national debt, but your record on is terrible, where you don't fire millions of Americans and all of it, you're letting in folks that may or may not. I mean, I'm just letting you know how many people have been fired so far.
I'm sorry, I've had so many taxes misappropriated. I don't have any money left over to buy little mini violins to play the song for those people. Look, if we've been misallocating our funds and you have been cheated out of your income tax, don't you feel like, let's just say, if it was misappropriated, that's not representation for taxation. That's the opposite. You're not being represented properly and taxed appropriately. You're being overtaxed for endless ceiling budgets that just continue to grow. And the only solution that this capitalistic system has so far is increased national debt, excessive spending, and increasing your taxes. And taking your representatives that are supposed to be doing your best interest and spending that money wisely, they're spending it on things that do not actually benefit you or your fellow citizens or America whatsoever. Now, some of it does, but some of it doesn't. We don't know the actual numbers yet. Okay. There's people that are rumbling that Doge is fake. Everything they found has been debunked. They made mistakes.
What up,
great people? But at least we're doing the work.
Yeah. Give me 1 second to turn something off. Hang on. I had to turn something off.
My point is, at least we're doing the audit, and this isn't the first time the federal government's been audited. I think this is the first time that Trump has introduced auditing the government, and everything Trump does is bad, right?
So let me get in here. Okay, let me explain it. Okay, let me tell you why it's getting so much attention. Many would suggest, and you can tell me where you disagree with this. Many might suggest that firing American workers should be the last resort to saving money. Like I bring up on the program all the time. We got an excessive amount of fighter aircraft that are damn near worth $1 billion each. We got way more aircraft carriers than we need. These are things you could get rid of that doesn't make somebody homeless.
Left, you sound like a left wing nut because you're going right to the military to find where the
I'm going where the money is.
That is a left talking point. You know that's like a bingo card. Like they go right to the military. They don't
so what is the right wing talking point? So what is a right wing? So what is a right wing talking point?
Anything but the military.
So what is it? Oh, anything but the military.
No. What I'm saying is we all know that the military is essential to our national security, right? And we all know that our military forces, if they're weak, we're weak, and our national security is not in a good place, right? So I mean, having the highest level of tech, having the highest level of excellence in our military is vital for our survival. We need to be a world superpower as far as military, always and forever. That's something that will never go away. And so when you say we're spending too much money, I can agree that if we have contracts with Boeing and they're selling us bushings for $90,000 for a bag of 10, yes, there's a problem there. And so I'm not disagreeing with you wholly. What I'm trying to say is that when it comes to military spending, maintenance, materials, anything that they're purchasing, if it's being contracted by somebody who is taking advantage by putting a high price tag on it, and we're paying for something that's relatively common and we can outsource or get another source for it and have the same exact quality, then yes, we are spending money excessively in the military.
Okay, and this goes back to my
answer for you.
Yeah, this goes back to my statement where you called it's just a liberal talking point. I believe that if you're talking about saving money, firing actual human beings should be the last thing you do. Now, you used a good example with the bushings, the Boeing bushings. Why not start with stuff like, why not even, he hasn't even done that yet. Why would you start with the human beings when you admit that maybe we're paying too much for door handles or some shit, why would you start with actual human beings?
Yeah, so when you're looking at this on a broad spectrum, which I don't think there's any stone that's going to be unturned, and there's a thing called low-hanging fruit.
You're not answering my
There's some
question,
things
though.
that are
Why would you
I am.
start
Some
with
things that are
humans?
brutally obvious. What I'm trying to say is, let me go back to when I said it was a left talking point, a leftist talking point, or a liberal talking point.
Right.
What I meant is that that's the number one thing that people would like Doge to focus on.
Yeah.
Yet nobody's confirmed or can confirm whether or not they will focus on it. It's just they're mad at the way they're going about it, and rather than focus on it.
Let me push back on it. Let me push back on it. The reason they're starting with the reason they're starting with the military first is because when you look at our budget, most of it is going there. That's where most of the waste is. USAID, I think they said that's like 1% of the budget or something like that. Why would you start with actual human beings when you can get rid of a few machines here and there or a few parts and save a ton of money is what I'm asking. If that sounds liberal, then so be it.
Maybe it's the climate that was created by Biden by having conflicts spark up all over the globe that's making the military the last on the list. If you think about it, we had a rising conflict with Ukraine and Russia. We also had things spark off in the Middle East. We had other enemies chanting, unaliving of America and rising forces that were ready to make major land grabs all over the globe. And it was all pivoting on who was going to get elected next. People say that Putin could have gone a lot harder, and I say the only reason why Putin didn't go harder and he tiptoed, and even though this was a huge conflict and there was a large amount of loss, there was a reason why he didn't go in so bullish and didn't just sweep as hard as he could have with his military. To also negate losses, he could have gone much harder and much faster with bigger munitions. My point is everybody was waiting to see if Trump was going to get into office because everybody didn't want to deal with the fallout of if they went too far too fast or did the wrong thing, Trump was going to have to act. And I don't think they wanted to be on the other end of that sword.
Yeah, I push back on a few things. Like when you said he could have went harder and faster and things like that. In my opinion, if Putin had stepped up his game, he has no assurance that Biden would not have stepped up the weapons we gave them. Just like you said, they could have used more powerful weapons against the Ukraine. America could have gave them more powerful weapons to use against Russia too. We kept their hands tied for a long time. We could give them shit that would hit anywhere in Russia if we wanted to. We kept their hands tied on that. So Putin may have realized if we step it up, Biden may step it up too. So could the rest of the EU. So I don't know if I totally agree with that. But you also made a point. Hold on, hang on. I'll let you continue. But you also made a point about the military and we want to remain a superpower. In my opinion, by stopping what Biden was doing through the Ukraine, which was continuing to weaken Russia via their military, they were losing soldiers and assets. Their superpower status was weakening. What Trump has done is now given them a chance to recoup and re-strengthen themselves because he's put them back on the world stage as a recognized leader. To me, our superpower status is more challenged under Trump because he's now reignited one of our adversaries. But go ahead. I'll give you the last word.
Well, I get your sentiment about the Ukraine-Russia conflict, saying that, we were holding them at bay and all these things. I think it's a fallacy. I think throwing more money at the problem was never going to stop Putin from doing what he was doing. Throwing money at it was just basically foregoing the inevitable, which is increments of land being captured and him moving in slowly. But what my point is he already raised his DEFCON level to preemptive strike, right? And he already flexed after that thing Biden did. Interestingly enough, Handsome, give me this. Is it easier to negotiate peace in Ukraine and Russia, the Ukraine-Russia conflict? Is it easier to negotiate peace before or after you authorize missiles to actually hit his soil? What would be the best way to bring peace? When Trump said, I'm going to bring peace to that conflict, within a week Biden authorized that and missiles hit Russian soil. That completely decimated that statement. And I think that was on purpose. And I think that they knew exactly what they were doing. And this is instigating world war. I'm telling you, if Trump didn't get into office, he would have ramped up. He was already positioned with tactical everything. He's ready to go. They had already hit his soil, and he already flexed his hypersonic capabilities. He showed everybody, hey, I could put something more nasty on this if you like. And he also raised his DEFCON level to preemptively striking. That means if
he could have been talking shit. We don't know.
He was going to launch.
I don't
He
know.
was ready to go nuclear, bro.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but world leaders, saber rattle all the time. I mean, was he ready to go nuclear? Was he for real about it? Maybe, maybe not. But world leaders say threatening shit all the time. So I don't have access to the Russian military, so there's no way to know if he was serious about that or if he was just trying to do that to scare people. So I'll leave that at that. But in regards to you talking about peace.
The U.S. did something.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if the U.S. escalated, he was ready to retaliate.
We don't know that because, and I'm going to say we don't know that because there's no way in hell anybody thought that Ukraine would be able to keep fighting Russia and last for 3 years. We would have never believed
what
that.
happened when those missiles hit the soil. That tells you everything you need to know.
I'm just telling you, nobody ever would have thought that Ukraine could be killing Russian soldiers 3 years later and they wouldn't have nuked them already. I mean, it's already shown that he's not going to do what you think.
But you're not taking into account the people that actually want to become part of Russia again that are in the east portion of Ukraine.
You got Americans that want to be.
There's a large amount of Russian-speaking, ethnically Russian people in Ukraine. You know that. He can't go in like a bull in a.
You know how many people. Okay, I'm just simply saying. Nobody would have thought the Ukrainians would still be putting up a decent fight 3 years later. We thought that country would have been mowed over like nothing. I mean, so you can't predict what Russia is capable of because we've shown that they have been a paper tiger for the last 3 years. I mean, they kicked their ass with our old weapons.
There's rumors about their subs being, leaking and breaking down, and there's rumors.
It's 3 years.
You understand, Russia has an ally with China, and if China and Russia they join forces, truly become allies, and cut us out, that just imagine the geopolitics then. I mean, it would be pretty.
I'm just telling you.
Russia being friends with China either.
Let me ask you this: Did you think Ukraine would last this long? I mean, when you look at how little of the Ukraine that Russia has conquered, did you think that they were going to have this much of a fight on their hands with our little weapons?
Again,
you didn't answer the question though.
This is a war of attrition, and if you look at the sheer population and numbers of Russia versus Ukraine is like a pimple on the.
But that doesn't answer the question. That doesn't answer the question.
Like alopecia, bro.
You're not answering the question though. You're talking about alopecia and all this.
Did you say he went soft because there's Russian people there?
And when he attacked the Ukraine, did you think he was going to go so soft in the last 3 years?
I'm telling you that this is nothing for him.
All right.
This is nothing for him.
All them dead Russians.
You're gonna wear him down. I'm telling you, you're not gonna wear this bear riding Russian KGB guy down. He's playing a long game on you, and he wants you to exhaust your money. He wants you to exhaust your resources. He wants you to keep spending.
We're not even.
It weakens your dollar. He wins.
We're not even remotely close to Hold on. We're not even remotely close to exhausting the shit we could have gave to Ukraine. We could have kept giving them shit forever. Because at the end of the day, we're getting 50% of their minerals anyway. I gotta move it on. Hey, first time talking?
No. We've talked before. One other time.
Thoroughly.
I appreciate you. I like listening to you. You're the man.
Thoroughly enjoy it. Come on back anytime. Anytime. Thoroughly enjoy it. Appreciate it.
And it wasn't a Muslim ban. Bam, I'm out.
Good luck with that shit. Talk to you. I appreciate that. Good conversation. Anyway, by the way, tap the screen. Get the likes on them. I give them a little bit more time. I like the genuine MAGA conversations. I don't get as many MAGA, but understand, folks, we don't block, ban, or censor any damn body. So when you hear the program and you think, oh, he's only talking to liberals or he's only talking to minorities or whatever the hell you're coming to that conclusion with, understand everybody's welcome to the program. We take all calls. We don't block, ban, or censor. When I say we go left, of Bernie Sanders from having dinner with Q. Damn it, we mean it. So you can be critical of anybody on this program, including yours truly. That's how it works here. Looking in the comments, Mr. Splackabill says 7.8 trillion with a T. Wow, that's a lot. Of 36.22 trillion in debt before COVID-19 is Trump's fault. Wow. He's saying that 7.8 trillion dollars of our debt is President Trump's fault. He's talking about that existed before COVID-19. I have heard that Trump was the biggest spender of our national debt. Did anybody else in his first term? He didn't balance the budget at all. He ran it up. And of course, we know what George W. Bush did during the Iraq War. So it ain't like you get rid of the liberals, you put in Republicans in the budget, the budget will go down. No, they've been running it up too. But continuing on with the program, Joseph Miller says he thinks Ukrainians will stop fighting if not for the U.S. It's an incentive. It is an incentive once Trump stops helping helping out the Ukrainians. Yeah, their days are essentially numbered. They could not handle Russia the way they have without our assistance. I don't know how much help the the EU is going to give them, but Europe has made it clear they don't side with Trump on his stance that all of a sudden he's going to make Russia great again or whatever the hell he's doing. The European Union, even the new chancellor of Germany, who leans right, he's a conservative, came out and publicly said the United States doesn't care about Europe. So they're now starting to say to themselves, now that Trump's in power, shit, we might need to do all this on our own. Now, a lot of Americans are like, great, we need to stop sending you money and protection anyway. But understand, a lot of the cooperation we're getting around the world is why we are a superpower. There's a reason why we can sail any sea. We can have bases on any continent because we're protecting people. When you start charging people for shit, you give them the incentive, you motivate them to price compare. Well, shit, if you're going to start charging me, let me call and see what China is charging. Let me see how much Russia might need. Maybe I can find it cheaper. And then all of a sudden, maybe China or Russia starts having bases worldwide. And that hurts our superpower status, and that will end up hurting the dollar, believe it or not. Look at it in the comments. Continuing on with the program. Nicole Gooden. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Nicole. Now, I got put through the ringer on my last call. Nicole, if the box brings her up, we'll see what happens here. Miss Mobetta, good evening. That he violated agreements. Yeah, I don't favor just violating agreements, and I think Trump is the king of doing that. But America's been known to not be trustworthy in regards to agreements and treaties long before Trump was even born. As I always bring up, the term Indian giver, we've all heard it before, that came from America breaking treaties with the natives. You know, we know about what we did with Saddam Hussein. We know what we did with Vietnam. We do not honor our agreements. I can't believe that so many nations continue trusting us. I'm really surprised at that. You seen what Trump did with the Paris Accord. You seen what he did with the Iran deal, NAFTA. It's like, why the hell would you get into an agreement with the United States knowing that the next leader may think the deal is stupid and just get out of it? Like, why would you even get into a deal with the U.S.? You know they change leaders every 4 years, and the next guy is free to just break the shit in half. Why even get involved in the deal at all? I don't understand it. Looking at the comments, we don't have to be trustworthy. We're the greatest military on earth, which makes you even less trustworthy for saying that shit. In the comments, Daddy T is home says, we don't have to be trustworthy. We have the greatest military on earth. You know, this is why I talked about when Trump was talking about taking over the Panama Canal. I said he sounds like a mob boss. You know, you open up a pizzeria in New York and a guy walks in and says, from now on, 10% of your profits go to me. I would hate for something to happen to your shop. And because you know he owns the neighborhood with all of these mob bosses and shit, you ain't got no other choice. As he says, you got the largest military. I just got to let them rob me. Ain't nothing I can do about it. That's what this creates. It creates, by the way, it creates dissension as well. That's how you start having nations form against you doing shit like that. We got the most powerful military in the world, so we can just, bogart our way anywhere and just take people's shit. That's kind of what Trump is talking. Kind of what Trump is doing with Panama, Greenland to some effect. You know, just what can they do to stop us? So we just take it. Looking in the comments, that's so asinine, says Miss Mobetta. Yeah, but this is what we're dealing with. Continuing on with the one and only MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Got a couple MAGAs come through today. So MAGA Reacts.
Excuse me, that was the wrong MAGA you brought up earlier.
No, he was good. He was real good. I enjoyed that. He was good. So, I mean,
Well,
go ahead.
let me start off where you were finishing off with him. How did the Russians beat the Nazis?
With a lot of other countries' help.
Well, they basically did the same thing they're doing with Ukraine. They kept throwing bodies and bodies and bodies at the Nazis until they lost.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I'll tell you let's say the Germans, because I don't know if the censors get triggered when you're saying that. Where some of these apps treat it like the N word, but in regards to the Germans, they were fighting wars on many fronts. I mean, you can only fight so many people at once. If all of the other nations left the Germans to their own devices and they only had to deal with Russia, I don't think Russia would have beat them. Even throwing bodies at it, because the technology of Russia was of Germany rather, was too great. Russia was firing single shot rifles and shit. Where they got the buzzsaw and they got all kinds of automatic. I mean, they got blitzkrieg. They got the latest and greatest aircraft and everything. Russia would have lost to them.
Well, and that might be the case back then, but today they still have all the bodies, probably even more bodies, and they're fighting with like one hand tied behind their back because they can't use their big guns, their nukes. And you really want to play chicken with the country that owns the most nuclear weapons in the world? Because they do own way more than us.
Saddam Hussein did it, and we didn't use any nukes on Iraq.
What do you mean?
Saddam Hussein did not bow down to America, and we didn't use no nukes on them. People don't, even though a nation is more powerful, people are hesitant to use nuclear weapons because you're destroying Earth. And when you look at the Ukraine, how close it is in proximity to Russia, there's nothing stopping the prevailing winds from some of that shit from coming back. And Moscow's not that far from the Ukraine. You want to radiate the atmosphere, and it's going to come blow right over your country.
But do you really want to like risk it at all? You want to play chicken doing that, even though most likely he won't do it? Do you really want to play chicken with a nuclear power?
So what do? Just bow down if he comes and takes over your country because he got nukes and you don't?
I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying if you could find a way to negotiate peace. And then also, I mean, honestly, Ukraine, they're destroyed. They lost so many people. Almost every building in the country is destroyed. Like, the place has taken a lot of damage.
And yet,
in the end,
all of that destruction, Trump wants to take 50% of their rare earth minerals. So they're going to have less money to rebuild.
well, I think they renegotiated that. Again, you guys take where he starts his negotiations and hold it literally.
Why are you taking money from them?
That's the starting point.
Why are you taking money back from them at all right now? The country is in complete rubble. You don't want to help them out. We're not going to rebuild. We're not going to give you any security. All we want to talk about is how much you owe us. That the war has not even ended yet. They haven't rebuilt it all. He's going to step over the rubble and say, let's talk about repayment now. You realize how bad that looks?
No, from my understanding, the new deal that they're working on, that the Ukraine people are in love with right now, includes rebuilding and includes security.
From America?
Because if we have a deal with you, it's like Taiwan. Why are we so interested in protecting Taiwan? It's because all our chips are there. So you kind of want to be in the deal with the U.S.
I haven't heard what you...
has an excuse to defend you.
I have not heard what you're talking about. I have not heard what you're talking about. I have not heard.
This is like stuff that came out today. This morning I was listening to it about all the different, how the deal has changed from what Trump proposed.
Yeah, I got
his original proposal is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I can't speak on it. Yeah, I can't speak on it because I have not heard that Trump has stated the United States is going to participate in any of the rebuilding of the Ukraine. That's news to me. I have not heard that.
Yeah, we're supposed to get the minerals from them, and we're gonna take the money from the minerals, put it into the rebuilding of Ukraine. is from what I understand, from what to the news on the way to work and back. And I did 2 hours of driving today, so I
Okay.
listened to a lot of it.
Well, if he does what you're saying, then that's not as bad. I guess the other question then I would need to know is, does the Ukraine lose any territory?
I think that has to be part of it, because like the last caller said, a lot of those lands are full of Russians.
And?
You know, like
So what? A lot of America's full of Mexicans. That don't mean you give you don't give Texas back to Mexico. That's because there's a bunch of Mexicans in it.
yeah, but the Russian separatists have been fighting Ukraine for forever. Like,
And?
that's how this all started. That's the
And
excuse Biden used, because these Russian separatists that lived in those areas wanted to be part of Russia.
you don't
Closer more to Russia than the Ukraine.
you don't separate a country because some of the citizens are unhappy. I mean, so if some of the citizens in America, like I mentioned, if there's a large portion of citizens in Arizona or in New Mexico that want to be part of Mexico, that means Mexico can come take that state back?
I mean, it's possible.
No.
Anything's possible.
No,
If they
no.
got the military power, and if people want to separate from Mexico that bad, yeah, they could take part of New Mexico back. They could take California might join with Mexico if they get pissed at us.
You can't. No, that ain't how sovereignty works. Is the citizens want to be a part of this, so you're gonna break it up? No, that ain't how it works. That sounding
Yeah,
to me that
that's
is
how we got these states. That's how we got California.
yeah,
That's how we got
exactly.
Texas.
That's called using.
That's literally how we got Texas, because you know, I told you I used to live there, and I took a whole year of Texas history.
Yeah.
You know, the Americans were pissed off.
Appreciate
and they wanted
that.
to join America instead of being part of Mexico.
Yeah.
That's how we got Texas.
That's exactly what Adolf did in World War II. Just create excuses to take people's shit. You know, well, Poland is starting a war with us, so we're gonna go attack. I mean, that's just what Putin is doing with the Ukraine, where there's a whole bunch of people in that area that want to be part of us, so we're gonna just take it. I mean, you just create an excuse to go steal somebody's shit. That's what's happening. I mean, we did that
I'm not
with.
defending it. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
I'm just telling you facts of the ground. There's a lot of Russians in those areas.
What you
They want to be part of Russia.
The proper way to do that, because the Ukraine they do hold elections. You hold an election, and if the people from this region wins the election, and then they work with the larger government and decide if they want to separate. You don't call in an enemy to break up your fucking country and start a war. That ain't how that works.
Well, because they also had elections where 8 years ago they loved the president, but then they're unhappy with the current guy. So yeah, they also had to deal with that too of their
Yeah.
government.
Some of that
change
is-
4 to 8 years.
Yeah, some of that unhappy with the current guy stuff is propaganda. I mean, you could easily say America's unhappy with Trump if you go interview the right people. I mean,
I agree with you.
yeah, they're not unhappy with Zelensky. In fact, they're quite happy with him because, I mean, the dude is a warrior. He was offered to have asylum and leave. He decided to stay. They asked him, "Where do you want to live?" And he
You
said,
misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not repeating what Trump's been I'm not repeating Trump's propaganda from the last couple of weeks.
"You're repeating somebody's. You're repeating somebody's."
No. I'm talking specifically about the people, the separatists that were always fighting the Ukrainians. I'm not talking about the majority of Ukraine. I agree with you. The majority of Ukraine thinks Zelensky's a hero. I think he's a fucking hero.
Right.
You know? But at a certain point, he can't keep this up forever. I mean, we could keep giving him guns, but he's gonna run out of people, you know? Unless he's got cloning technology.
How long did we fight in Iraq?
Yeah, but we had a whole country of people to beat the Iraqi people, and we had Iraqis on our side. And we had way more people than Iraq, so I don't know.
Every war, there are going to be people on the side of the
You know
end.
what you're saying? You're saying if we would give Palestine weapons to fight Israel, that they could beat Israel. Because that's the equivalency. It would be like the Israel-Palestine thing. Should Palestine keep fighting the Israelis, even though Israelis have them outgunned?
If somebody is talking about, you ever heard of the phrase "give me liberty" or "give me death"? If somebody is talking about taking your homeland, there are people that would rather die than let that happen. You ever heard of the phrase "from my cold dead hands"? People are willing to fight to the death when you start fucking with them. They don't just back down because they can't beat you. Some people will fight to the death for their liberty. Like in Gaza, you mentioned the Palestinians. They're still in their homeland. I mean, they're going to literally. You know what happens if Trump gets his way, turning Gaza into the what he calls the Riviera of the Middle East, and he said the Palestinians are not allowed to return. He wants them to go to Jordan or Egypt. So that means they're going to blend in with the population of Jordan or blend in with the population of Egypt. Within a couple generations, their culture is gone. They're going to essentially become Palestinians and Egyptians. No different than, I think my heritage might be from Ghana or the Ivory Coast. I'm an American now. All of that culture in me is gone. So they're going to lose all of their culture if they do what Trump is saying. Within a couple generations, Palestinians are going to become rarer and more rare and rare. You're getting rid of them.
No,
People are willing to die
that's
for
the way
that.
of the world, though. That happens all the time. The good guys don't always win, and the good guys is also a matter of perspective.
Shit, who are the good guys
I'm
in
not trying
this?
to defend anyone, or I'm just being impartial here, playing devil's advocate. But look at the Armenians and all the other people have lost, and had to. They all live here.
But you do understand why somebody would keep fighting to the death. You
No, I
mentioned,
completely agree.
yeah.
Of course.
So when you say, well, the
But-
Ukrainians, or when you say the Ukrainians can't keep it going forever, or the Palestinians can't, people are, well, then shit, we gotta die then. We're gonna fight to the last man. We're not gonna let you take our homeland. Some people, they will just keep fighting.
I don't know, but if we could give them an option of peace where they could keep 90% of it or 80% of it, it's much better than getting. Right now, we could have made the same deal like 3 years ago, and they could have kept all their buildings and all their shit, and only lost like a sliver of the East. I mean, we had to stand up to Russia so they get like a black eye, so they won't do it again.
You're gonna,
Like at a certain point, this stop being like it's a stalemate. Like Ukraine could only lose from here on.
you're gonna have to, the only way you're gonna get the Ukrainians to enter a deal like you're talking about confidently, probably would have to be to get rid of Trump. They see what he's doing to Gaza. You don't think that you think the Ukrainians and Zelensky do not know what Trump is doing to Gaza, telling them they can't come home? So this is the dude that's negotiating on your behalf, as the guy that picked his friend, Netanyahu. That's his friend, just like apparently Putin is. He done already told Benjamin Netanyahu, you can have Gaza. We're gonna chop this shit up. And now he's over here talking to
That's
Putin
not
without
quite
he's talking to Putin without you present. You think Zelensky and him trust him?
First of all, like we're debating like shit he said. I hate debating shit he said. We could debate after the final results. So how about we wait till the final results of both things and see what happens? Right now, as far as I'm concerned, he's trying to get peace for everybody, both in Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Palestine. He's trying to negotiate some peace, and we'll see what happens. I mean, if the people take the deal, they take the deal. If they don't take the deal,
I think the problem is when you say he's trying to negotiate peace, it's the definition of peace. I mean, for the Ukrainians, ending the war but losing 20-30% of our homeland is not peace. That's a loss. That ain't, so Trump is looking at, here's
their population, 30% of the population.
liberty or
We
death.
care more about.
Liberty or death. Did you not hear what I said? From my cold dead hands. People will die over their damn gun collection. You're talking about taking their whole homeland, but hey, we'll stop killing.
But I would prefer not. Like for me, I prefer to keep 30% of my population and give up 20% of my land.
Would you give up all your guns?
What do you mean?
You ever heard of the phrase?
Involves what? Yeah, I would give up my guns if it involves not dying.
Okay,
Of
all
course.
right. Okay, so you're not a from my cold dead hands kind of guy.
Not really. It
What
depends, but not really.
Okay,
I mean,
just
if I'm gonna
checking.
lose anyway, then yes. But if there's a position of peace, then yeah, I'll negotiate for peace and I'll take the deal. But if I'm like gonna lose no matter what, and no matter what I'm gonna get killed, then yeah, I'm gonna fight to the last minute, liberty or death. But if there's a way out of it where I get to most of my country,
I'm laughing because okay, now you're obviously MAGA. My YouTube audience is more MAGA than my TikTok audience.
I'm reading them. I'm not Armenian. I'm
Hold on, hang on. They are tearing you apart. When you started saying you'll give up your guns, they calling you a coward and a pussy and everything.
I mean, against who? Like, who am I giving my gun to?
The government.
I only became a gun guy like at the beginning of COVID. Some guy, I became a gun guy by accident. It's the funniest thing. Like some guy owed me money, and he gave it to me as collateral. And I was like, I'm never gonna touch this thing. Whatever. I told him I hate guns. I'm never gonna touch it. Within like 2 hours, I was at the shooting range playing with it because I hate guns, but I love toys. And then within like a couple hours, I realized guns is just fireworks.
You just lost all your MAGA credentials, as we say in the hood.
I'll try to win them back.
As we say in the hood,
guns,
yeah. As we say in the hood, you're no longer invited to the MAGA cookout. So you just lost all your
2,000 rounds of 5.56, 1,000 rounds of 9mm. And and 3 toys to play with all that with. So maybe that will win them back a little bit. I mean, I have friends who've got like 30 ARs.
I've never. You just broke the record for my first MAGA viewer that has had so much anti-comments from MAGA. MAGA is going ape shit. People, I got one guy says no chance for liberty at all with this guy. I wouldn't hand this dude a gun. I mean, man, why they calling you coward? My God, he's MAGA, folks. This is MAGA right here. This is MAGA. This is one of your people.
Like, MAGA is... Hey, I'm an outsider. Even in MAGA, I'm an outsider, apparently.
Now, you are a genuine outsider. You are an outsider.
Anyway, some other things I wanted to mention. Let's switch topics.
Real quick, I'm gonna have to move it on. I'll give you the push. Go ahead.
As far as Trump, for Jesse Jackson, he basically what he did was he rented him a floor of Trump Tower, or like a floor. He basically gave him his headquarters rent free. He paid like $1 of rent to use one of Trump's properties as his headquarters when he was running for president.
Yeah.
Trump also dated 2 black women. One of them was Maureen Gallagher. Supposedly he proposed to her and she said no. There's a quote, which I don't know if it's true or not, but the quote's like, I love fucking you, but I don't love you.
Damn.
Which I found really hilarious.
Damn.
So
that's a good one. I like it.
Dating her and like Melania at the same time. Melania was jealous of her. And I guess Melania said yes or she said no. But yeah, she's Jamaican actually. She's pretty much kind of your skin tone, maybe a little lighter. She's very hot. She's a supermodel.
That's all he fucks with is dimes. He only fuck with dimes. I'm not gonna hate on the guy's love it, but I have never heard it. I can't push back on it because I've heard people say it. Trump's been in the spotlight since I was a kid. I've never seen him in public with black women. So I don't, I hear about it, but I don't see, where's all the footage of this? I mean, this guy loved the limelight.
It's all over. Google it. You have to just Google it.
Okay.
And this is the one you're going to find even funnier. I just found out right now while you guys were talking. He also dated LaToya Jackson.
Okay.
She was his, supposedly, I found this article from the Inquirer where she says he left Marla for me, which Marla's his first wife. So supposedly he dated LaToya Jackson right after he broke up with his first wife, or they got divorced or whatever. So I just found this out today while you guys were talking. I'm like, let me look up his girlfriends and stuff. And those were 2 of them.
All right.
Those were the only 2 out of like 18 girls he's dated.
Then I got some homework. I appreciate. I got on MAGA Reaction, but I definitely will look that up. Thank you for the tip. I'll look it up. I'll look it up. Appreciate it. And keep it.
If Dan Cal or what's his name come up later, give us a chance to debate at the end.
I think you're gonna have to debate some. I think you're gonna have to debate some MAGA talking about giving up your damn guns to the government. You ain't got to worry about no liberals no more. You got some MAGA. What did you guys say in American History X? You gonna get my ass beat by a bunch of crazy white boys? I gotta go. Appreciate it. MAGA really didn't like that. I can tell you right off the bat. MAGA did not like him talking about he'd give up his guns if he was facing insurmountable odds. And make no doubt about it. Make no mistake about it. If someone from the government is trying to seize your weapons, you are going to be facing insurmountable odds. They know if they're coming to take guns, you don't send 1 or 2 cops. So he's definitely going to lose his firearms because, they're going to send plenty of people. Anytime there's a felon in possession of somebody and they want to take the person's terms, they come heavy. They come heavy. So yeah, it's gonna be insurmountable. Elim, Africans did not care for us to be sold to everybody everywhere. If you like Africa so much, go back. Every race were slaves in history. The spoils of war are land, money, and women. Damn, stop complaining. Well, if the spoils of war are women and that's rape, and you are correct, that does happen, but yeah, you don't, if you defeat a country, you don't take the women. I mean, that's just straight up rape. So you said stop complaining about that? Okay, you want me to stop complaining about rapes? Okay, fair enough. They said Africans didn't care for us to be sold to everybody everywhere. I don't understand that part. Africans didn't care for us. Who the hell's us? Didn't care for us to be sold to everybody everywhere. Okay, by the way, I don't buy that all of the folks that were enslaved coming out of the African slave trade were purchased. I mean, they show up with cannons and gunpowder, and you talk to some local tribal chief, you tell him, you can either go get me 20 of them Negroes, or I can go get 19 of them myself and leave with you. I mean, I don't think all of them were bought. Some of them weren't given a choice. Either you go find me 20 folks, or I'm gonna go find me 19 and you gonna make the 20th one and we're gonna go back on across the Atlantic. Your choice. So I don't believe that they're all purchased as you're saying. Also, you say if you like Africa so much, go back. Every race were slaves in history. You know, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I'll respond with this. This sounds like the, you don't like America, you can leave, I'll help you pack type conversation. Why can't you be critical of your own home country, in a country that the very first amendment out of the Bill of Rights is free speech? Where has this North Korean forced patriotism come from? This is the same shit I mentioned with, taking a knee during the anthem, or not wanting to say God in the pledge, or not wanting to put your hand over your heart, and people, well, you should be canceled, or you should be fired. Whatever happened to freedom? This is forced patriotism. What's next? My heart goes out to you salutes? Why the hell you're forcing people to be patriotic? I get the respect behind it. People did die to protect this country. I'm 100% understanding of that. But did they die and fight for freedom, or did they fight for you to tell them what the hell to do? Because that's what we're starting to hear. Anybody that criticizes the country, well, you need to leave. That ain't freedom. Telling people you need to like your homeland or you can't stay here anymore. That sounds like everything but the First Amendment and free speech. Put it in the fridge. Sounds like everything but that. So, real quick in the comments, in regards to every race were slaves in history, I'm not sure of that. I guess you're saying whites were slaves, black. I'm not sure of it. I'm not going to say you're wrong. But I will say this. Anytime the American slave trade comes up, we hear about how every race was slaves and all this stuff. When I bring up September 11th, we don't talk about terrorism in Lebanon. We stick to September 11th. I don't know why when we talk about the black experience in America, we zoom out to start. Well, there was slavery in Egypt. There was slavery in the Middle East. We're talking about America. We don't do that on any other topic. But to dilute the African American conversation, let's throw a bunch of other shit in the pot so you can barely taste what we were originally cooking. Okay, we can talk about world slavery if you want, but this particular conversation is on what happened in America. We don't do that on any other topic. So I don't get it, but you're right, slavery happened all over the world. But I don't know why we want to zoom out anytime it's about what happened here with African Americans. Do you want to hear about every place that got bombed on December 7, 1941, when they're just trying to honor who was lost in the opening of the war against Japan? Do you want to hear about all kinds of other shit on December 7, 1941? Do you want to hear about all that? No. We want to talk about what happened when the Japanese bombed us. Quit bringing up other shit. I don't know. But it happens anytime a conversation on that topic comes up. Tap the screen. Get the likes on up to about 45. You guys got me preaching today. You know I don't block, ban, or censor. Feel free to be critical of the host. That was a critical comment. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support, by the way. Elim, thank you. Real quick in the comments, that's because the United States is changing to a text, wait, whoa, what did this say? What did it say? Damn, the comment came in so fast, I wanted to read it, and it scrolled on. That's very fair. Both sides do that type of thing, but in slavery, the right does it where they move the goalposts from the U.S. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If we're having a conversation on a topic, don't throw in the misery of all kinds of other people to dilute what happened. It's just every topic you could do that to. We would not be able to talk about anything in this. I mean, you can talk about everything from the Constitution, anything else. Just throw in everything else to dilute it. That's what's happening. Going back to the box, and some of you folks are tapping the screen. Get your point up to 40,000. It helps out the algorithm. It does bring in more MAGA to the program. You guys know I am MAGA friendly, despite the fact that I can't find my MAGA hat. Anyway, but tap the screen, get the lights on up. There it is. I got so many of these damn MAGA hats around here. Tap the screen, get the lights on up to 40,000. I'll move the program on. The 8th Amendment violates the 13th Amendment. Well, with the Supreme Court we got right now, what do you think? You think they'll find the same ruling that you're talking about? You're going to need them tonight. King Finn, I'm going to need my MAGA hat. Is that what I'm going to need? Let me go back to the box. MAGA don't want this kind of person with our movements. That was in regards to my last caller. I see in the comments on. By the way, folks, we are on Instagram as well. If you want to call in live, for folks who wonder, well, how can you call in? You're hearing the callers. You're hearing callers from TikTok, but also we're on live on Instagram as well. So if you want to call in live and tear me a new one, or simply have a conversation about what's going on, feel free to get on either TikTok or Instagram. Handsome Liberal on all platforms. We're on YouTube, vertical and horizontal as well. Why would he care? Type to put razor wire in water. Joseph, and are you talking about the border with Texas Governor Greg Abbott did that. Put the razor wire in the water. And I'm sure Trump is okay with that. He likes that too. And I believe somebody lost their life getting caught up in that razor wire. But the argument is you should have thought about that before entering the country illegally. Too bad, so sad, our plan killed you. I mean, it is a no mercy approach. Maybe if you had $5 million, you could buy your way in. You wouldn't have to worry about the barbed wire. But unfortunately, you're so poor, you got kind of caught up and drowned. Too bad, so sad. That is the American approach on it. I'm telling you, something from the right. Going back to the box. Thank you for the sub there. Not that kind of Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you for the sub. Going back to the box, Miss Mo Betta, you just going to upset everybody tonight, Miss Mo Betta. Good evening.
You know how you know it, Tim. Starting out, you know what, being that guy talking about this African stuff, you know what MAGA stands for? Coming from the Africans?
Oh.
It means fool or idiot.
Really?
Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Yes.
So you mean if the word MAGA means fool or wow?
And the nicknames is Moo. So now I'm not calling them MAGA anymore. They are Moo. Now,
oh shit!
Go back to Africa with that. Oh, matter of fact, take it back to Ireland or wherever the fuck they come from.
Oh my God, Moo. So are you telling me that if some young little African kid is in the United States for the first time and he see a bunch of Trump supporters with the red hat on, he taps his bar, Moo.
Moo. And it stands for fool or idiot.
Oh my God.
Easily persuaded or gullible. That's what MAGA stands for.
And that is for real.
Now, it all fits right in. To hear their asses talk and the shit they say that comes out of their mouth, it just all fits in together.
Oh my God.
The puzzle fit right there, Tim.
Oh my. I learned a lot of shit on this show. I've never heard that one.
You absolutely do. And they are a bunch of moo-moos. And you.
I gotta look that up. I'm not gonna just trust that at face value. That's funny though.
Look, I got it up right here. Sure do.
Hang on. Hold on a second. I'm very curious to what you're putting up there. What are you showing me?
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Oh
Hold on real
my
quick.
God.
Hold on real quick. I got you.
Oh, you definition on there. I ain't gonna be able to read it because it's reversed and all kinds of shit. But now you gave me
Oh,
some
yeah,
homework.
yeah. But
Okay.
look it up when you get a chance.
All right.
Yes, it stands. They call them muumuus. It stands for idiot.
Damn. Wait, you don't think that all MAGA are idiots though, do you?
No, all of them might not be. I can't. But the ones that I hear talk are.
What have you? I'm gonna have you elaborate because some folks are going to want to know. What have you heard Trump supporters say that makes you think that some of them are idiots?
Let me see. You kind of caught me off guard. Oh, that Trump is the best president ever.
I won't go into.
Oh, better when they say, "Oh, he's saving the American people money."
That could happen. I mean,
Yeah, but it's just not the little people. They don't care about people who are not in the same financial bracket as them. They don't care. That's why they don't care about stripping people of Medicaid, of Medicare, or anything like that. They have no regards when it comes to that. They don't care about people's lives. They care about money and power.
yeah, but wait, hang on a second, Mr. Mobetta. Most MAGA are hardworking people like you and me. They don't have a lot of money. Are you talking about just the administration?
I know, but again, those muumuus brought it to the fact that they are exempt. That they are exempt from the things that they're doing because they voted for him. I voted for Trump, so we're going to be in a better position. We're going to be in a better position. See, and this is it's not a race war or anything. It's a class war that we're going in right now. It's a class war. It's them and us, it's really been like that. If you read that book, Meet Your Straw Man, everything in that book, you'll see it's in fruition right now.
And what is that book again?
Meet Your Straw Man.
I've never heard of that.
Yes, I have it. It's Meet Your Straw Man, and the second book to that is the UCC code. See, that's what the country runs on. It runs on code and jurisdiction. The law comes after the fact, actually. They go on code and jurisdiction before the law is even brought forth. That's why when you go to court, when you see, that's why you have different judges. One judge can't handle all situations. You got to know which jurisdiction you're riding in and all of that. Police officers can't go arrest somebody if you're a cop in New York can't go to North Carolina and arrest anybody. So you got to know this stuff. Right. It's about jurisdiction and codes.
All right, okay, you got me interested. Now, in the comments, so how do you respond to someone?
It's interesting.
How do you respond to somebody like Craig Halpin in the comments says, you're damn right that we are in a better position with Trump and not Kamala Harris. You think Kamala Harris, we would have been better off with her?
See, this is the hypocrisy for me. They keep saying, "Oh, we're in a better position than Kamala," but yet when she was up there running, oh, she hasn't done anything. So how are you blaming her for something when she wasn't doing anything? Which way do you want it?
Well, they're suggesting that Kamala Harris would have been an incompetent leader.
Like you said, that's just a suggestion.
True.
That's just a suggestion. I don't even buy into that anymore because I know better. I know better. Right. And that's me talking. I know better.
But let's speculate on it though, because we are looking at.
We can get into that.
All right,
we can get into speculation.
Let's get into it, darling. So fair enough. So do you think under Kamala Harris, these negotiations with Putin and Zelensky would have been progressing the way they are under Trump?
So how are they really progressing? And no, it would have went way different. You know why? Because she's not kissing the ring of our adversaries. Our opposition. She wouldn't kiss the rings of them. Number one. Number two, Putin and them don't really even respect Trump. They just know how weak he is for power and how easy it is to persuade him.
Yeah, but then when you say that,
how easy it is.
Yeah, but then when you say that, under Biden, it was pretty clear the war between the Ukraine and Russia was going to keep going on and on. But Trump...
Again, that's a speculation still, too.
That's what was happening.
Well,
I mean...
Again, that's really not... You really can't say that has changed now. It's just that Trump has sold us out, in my opinion.
Wait. Did you see any end coming? Did it even look like there was a light at the end of the tunnel with the war under Biden? Did you see anything that was happening that led you to believe maybe this is about to wind down? Because under Trump, you can see that.
Not really. I don't really see an end now.
Really?
Yep, you got it. Why you think Trump has got up there with that bully mentality? And to get up there, and now he done started another lie saying Ukraine started the war and all kinds of stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand
now,
that
we're
part.
supposed to be backing them, and we have the strongest military. Why are we falling back on supporting them?
Well, Trump, wait, hold up. But Trump made it clear we were not supposed to be backing him. That's a Biden, Harris, EU, and all of them folks believe that the Ukraine was allies. Trump made it clear years ago that he was not favorable of the Ukraine, and he thought they were corrupt. They had bio labs and all. I mean, because they were working with Biden, working with Hunter Biden. Trump has never been keen on the Ukraine. So America knew via everybody from Tucker Carlson to Fox News, everybody knew if Trump gets elected, our stance on the Ukraine is going to take a turn for the worse. I mean, that was kind of predictable.
But what I see, and again, this is my opinion, I don't see it ending well for the United States. I don't.
Explain. Elaborate.
I'm telling you now, because his own peoples are going to sell him out, starting with Elon.
Really?
And second of all, because Trump doesn't feel anybody should have as much power as him. He is the king. I am the man. But yet his pockets don't run as long as Elon's.
Not what his power does right now.
Oh, because he has him on his side.
Yeah.
Because why when he was in office before he wasn't doing any of this stuff? And I'm not just talking about Ukraine.
Well, the answer to that is simple.
He was denying Russia before. Now all of a sudden Russia's his friend.
Well, the answer to that is simple. And him and Putin were friendly in the first term as well. But the reason he wasn't doing all this stuff is because he didn't have the right staff in place. He got a bunch of loyalists now. There's no resistance. He can do whatever he wants. He didn't have that the first term.
That's true. But again, I don't see that ending well with America. He's, in my opinion, he's selling us out. You're around here firing all these people. You got people headed back to the breadline. So where do you see that going for us?
Well, if he can get money from the Ukraine's rare earth minerals, if he can turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East, I mean, if he can get his hands on the Panama Canal and make them, I mean, shit, to be honest with you, if he does the stuff he's saying, while it sounds inhumane and people may lose their lives and become poor themselves, he could take us on a path in America to becoming incredibly wealthy.
Wealthy for who? Because there's going to be a lot of dead people who going to be here to spend the money. I mean, listen, not all money is good money. I'm sorry.
I agree with that.
Yes, I agree with, not have wasteful spending and all of that stuff. But how can they actually say in less than 30 days to say what was wasteful? Can they pick them out and say what was what? And y'all sending out all of these bogus ass emails threatening people if you come up with 5 things that you've done in the last week or whatever to justify their job when people have been doing their jobs for years. How do they know where the waste was coming from? They don't.
Yeah. Well,
they don't, and they really don't care. It's no longer. And people used to make jokes about it. It's no longer funny.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, in resonating with what you're saying, Shirt 14 in the comments says, at what cost do we want to be wealthy? I agree. Your answer is the actual answer, Mr. Mobetta. People don't care. As long as you can put money in people's pockets, they'll turn a blind eye to anything. I said on the show before, you could bring back slavery if you pay the American people enough. They don't give a shit. As long as you put...
They're trying to head there. From the way they're handling things, it looks like they're trying to head that way. So what they did, let's get all the illegals or whatever who were out there working in these fields, fire the people that was actually working here that are illegal, that are actual American citizens, take away government assistance or any assistance that they can get after losing their jobs. Then they're going to be forced to go into these places where these other people were working, like the Walmarts and the vineyards and wherever they. Do you see the pattern here?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody been reading Project 2025 in detail. 'Cause that's yeah, that's
Do you see the
exactly
pattern
what.
here?
Yeah, creating a permanent underclass to replace them. You know, you're gonna dumb down. I mean, you know, go back to states' rights education, reduce the quality of education because educated people want to make more money. I mean, break it up to the point where you're right. You don't have a choice but to work for these meager wages.
To work for the meager wages, and then you get rid of the DEI programs and all the programs that did help people have a little bit of leg to stand on to say you're not going to just treat me any kind of way. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just about race for the people who thinking DEI was just about race. It's beyond that. It was a little more protection for people working. So now people going in, it's going to be step and fetch.
You're scaring me.
That's why they don't want CRT and things like that because it's just so many things that come up in those programs and in those lessons that will expose who these people really are. There's the world banking system is really what runs everything.
Well, I gotta move it on, but I'll tell you, it ain't like he didn't tell folks what he was gonna do. When he say promises made, promises kept, you gotta kind of give him credit. He been transparent. He been talking to the media every day. He told people what he was going to do. People voted him in, and he's doing it.
The Moo-Moos voted him in, Tim. The Moo-Moos voted him in.
All right, Miss Mo.
That's how you know. But meet your straw man and you read that book. I'm telling you, it's so enlightening.
If you would, send me that in the inbox. I'm curious. And I definitely want to hear about the Moo thing. Appreciate it.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. Good talk as always. In the comments, Mina Haran, thank you for the super chat, says, Tim, this is week 6, not week 5. He got put in on the 20th, right? 20th of January. Is this the 6th week? I thought as of Monday. Okay, all right, 6th week. You said this is week 6 and not 5. Ukraine lost so many lives in historic buildings. You can't get back. You can get back land, or you can get land back in future deals. Can't get those lives back. That is true. Putin can die, and they can make a deal with Russia the next day. Yeah. To me, I'm not a fan of, and I know the MAGA side of this is going to love it because it's money, and Trump is going after this stuff. But I don't like demanding that Ukraine give us some of their rare earth minerals in the middle of this shit. They're not even the war hasn't even officially ended yet. They have to rebuild their country and all that. And Trump is in the middle of the rubble like, you got to pay me first. I mean, it just looks shiesty to me. But a large portion of America supported Trump and they agree with it. It just looks shiesty to me. I mean, that is like the strongest sweep the leg, no mercy approach you can get. I mean, we are the reason, when you talk about the southern border and these people coming to this country, I've said this on the program many times. We are the reason a lot of those countries are poorer south of the border and why some of them folks are trying to get to the United States for a better life. What we're doing to the Ukrainians is going to make them considerably poorer as well. They need that money to rebuild their country. We don't need it. We're significantly more wealthy than the Ukrainians. And yet we're going to make them give us 50% of their rare earth minerals. Dincal, appreciate it. Shout out to you. Thank you for that. I haven't seen that in a minute. Thank you, Dincal. Appreciate that. Lisa, appreciate your support as well. Thank you. This is how war works. After World War II, the British had to pay us back for our resources and people. The war ain't over with yet, though, Craig. The war is not over with. And I don't think we've made a deal with the UK to take 50% of any damn thing. That's a high price to pay. That's a very high price to pay. And by the way, I don't know. Like I said, we helped them out, but I just don't see it. I mean, certainly when we look at it like this is why I keep saying I don't know why people make deals with the United States. Because when the Biden administration started helping the Ukrainians out to defeat Russia, there was never any talk about you're going to pay this shit back. That is Trump doing an anti-Ukrainian, pro-Russian play. If Biden had won again or Kamala Harris, there was never any mention of you got to pay us back one day. That was not in there. That's something that Trump is doing. So I'm not a fan of it. I just want to say I'm not a fan of it. I know a lot of my folks on the right are. I'm not a fan of that. Simply put, it's going to make that country hurt for even longer. Because now we're kind of victimizing them. We withdrew all of the help we were giving them. We're making no promises of giving them any security going forward. And now we're going to be taxing them. I'm not a fan. I see in the comments, Stevie D says, I am a fan. They took 177 billion. Nothing in life is free. Okay, all right. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't believe in kicking somebody when they down, especially when you got the money. It ain't like America suffering. This is just pay me because we can take it. I mean, we're not going to see any difference in our life by taking their rare earth minerals. It's not going to make a difference at all for us. Going back to the box, we're just doing that shit because we can. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the program, Dencal. We gave them billions of old weapons and created thousands of ON. And by the way, I heard America made a ton of money by helping out the Ukrainians. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah. Do you favor that? Do you favor taking?
No, that is a false pretense to say. After all of this, they owe us the money that we gave to help them, because that wasn't a part of the
It wasn't.
memorandum.
It never was.
We agreed to protect them if somebody invaded their sovereignty.
Yep.
It had nothing to do with we gonna give you a loan if somebody invades your country.
Yeah, you know something? You are correct. After the Soviet Union broke up, they still had Soviet-era nuclear weapons in their country. And the United States, along with Russia and I believe the UK as well, told them exactly what you're talking about. If you give up your nuclear weapons, we'll protect you or prevent, somebody from, doing what Russia is doing right now. There was never any promise that it was going to be a loan. You are right about that.
Right, yeah, I mean, look, Stevie D is still in the chat talking about countries do this all the time. Everything is a deal. No, it was at one time in this country, in this world, that the United States word was its bond. What we said meant something.
Shit, when was that? When was that?
No, I'm saying when we established the UN and NATO, the whole point of those was to prevent what's happening right now. And up to this date, they have done just that. Until Donald Trump says we're not going to honor that anymore. Yeah. The whole reason behind those establishments for what? For Russia and China to not exert their control over vast portions of the world. Yeah. Now that we're pulling out of all of these deals, guess who's going to fill those voids?
Those countries you just mentioned.
China is all up in Mexico now. They all in Africa with all of the rare minerals. They about to be friends with Canada in a minute. Yeah. And we're about to be isolated because we are so ignorant and arrogant to believe that everything in the world revolves around America. And it doesn't.
Well,
we've been great financially for the world, yes. But when we turn our backs on the rest of the world, they're going to turn their backs on us. And regardless of what people feel like, oh, America, we could just do this or we could just do that because we got the best weapons and all of that stuff. Look, they don't have to fight us in the war. They can all turn their backs and join together and say, we'll just deal with each other and screw them.
Yeah. I think we're giving them a huge incentive to do that. I mean, if you're in Europe at this point, and I think some of the leaders have started to say that, like, we can no longer depend on the U.S. I mean, we need to do this on our own, and that will affect the U.S. dollar. It will affect the U.S. trade, all of that. I mean, I think it's one of those cases of, you're going to find, what they say, you're going to learn today or something like that. I mean, fuck around and find out. I mean, the United States, I think we do tend to think we are too high and mighty. But you're right. If they all start teaming up and collectively doing things that are not in our favor, we're going to notice that.
Yes, we are, because first of all, we're a consumer society. We have set ourselves up to be a consumer society. We have done all of these trade agreements around the world, so we will be the beneficiary of all of these trade agreements. Now Trump comes along and says we've been getting robbed. Well, we've been robbing every other country in the world for decades.
Yeah.
He comes in and says Canada's been robbing us. What? Mexico has been robbing us.
Yeah.
What? Like that doesn't even make any sense to anybody that understands international trade. All trade agreements favor America, period.
Yeah. To me, it sounds like the biggest guy in high school always complaining about people trying to start fights with him. I mean, we do the same shit when it comes to war too. The biggest, most powerful country on earth is always at war claiming somebody's fucking with them. Like, you got all of this shit. This is the country that Iraq or some of these other, this is the country people gonna mess with. That makes no sense at all. But in my opinion, it's kind of like what you're saying. I believe that, I don't want to compare Trump to Adolf, but I do see this one particular example where I think we're kind of creating reasons to have anger against people. Just finding reasons to make up shit to, you know, like for instance, he's saying Canada owes us money. Well, then if they don't pay us the money that we just created, then we can do something else because they didn't answer their debt. Same thing with the Ukrainians now. If they had said no to the rare earth minerals, what's next? We're going to go take it because you owe it to us. So it almost sounds like he's making reasons to get hostile with people.
Right, and it would be different. See, he's and I know, just like you, I don't want to compare him to the Mustache Man.
Right.
But what was Mustache Man's biggest problem is that he tried to do everything at one time.
Too many enemies, too many fronts.
If he had did it methodically, he probably would have succeeded, and we'd be talking German right now. But he tried to do everything at once, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to fix the world. We're trying to get back at everybody that Trump thinks, you know, did something to us. We're trying to correct every trade imbalance. We're trying to correct every social issue in the country. We're trying to fix everything at once. The world doesn't work like that.
That's what I said in my show earlier. Somebody talked about Trump is an outsider, he's not an insider, and somebody said, well, if he's such an insider, why the hell did somebody try to take his life? And I brought that up is that you got so many enemies, anybody could be taking a shot at you. Like, we're talking about all the different people that he's pissing off and mistreating at the same time. Like, if something happened to him, it literally could come from anywhere. I mean, how many Luigi Maggiones now work for the federal government? I mean, it could literally come from anywhere.
We would be the same way we are right now about John F. Kennedy. Was it the Cubans? Was it the mobsters?
Yeah.
Was it the black? You know, was it all of these different? We don't know because he started so many. You know, but you know, JFK didn't do it intentionally. I think he was just trying to do the right thing, but he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Like, this is Trump doing it outwardly. Like, everybody is under attack, and I don't know people like.
In Trump's case, one of the things we gave Trump credit for that we liked is, or I'm talking about the American people, I'm not talking about specific voters, but we all said we need somebody that's going to run the country like a business. Well, this hostile takeover type shit is what he has been so successful in business at doing. It's just, you know, you just going after money over everything and just, you know, using hostility to take shit down. He's now doing this with countries and real people.
Right, and just, you know, and talking about real people as if they're like chess pieces on a game. Like, yeah, we just, we gonna get rid of, you know, 1,400 people over here, you know, 2,000 people over here. Now he's telling the government we got to get ready for all of these mass layoffs, and you know, we already know, due to what happened with him, our judicial system is so freaking slow and outdated that by the time they get to him, our whole damn infrastructure will be destroyed.
But what if he ends up firing a ton of people and the government still continues to run efficiently? He gets down the price of fuel and groceries and eggs and inflation. Would he not indeed be a great president? If he could show us that we had thousands of employees working for the federal government receiving a paycheck and we didn't need them, I got rid of them, saved us a ton of money, and see the government still functioning, would he not be somewhat of a hero?
I mean, he would be a hero to certain people, but if you got to destroy hundreds of thousands of people's lives to be able to achieve that. I don't know that he deserves an award for that. Like, I believe, like, if you believe the system is screwed up, that there's a way you should be able to go in, you should be able to audit those things, you should be able to do things. And yes, change in America is slow because it's so big and it's so complex. There's no way you get rid of, and these things, all of these people are taxpayers. These are taxpayers with like middle class jobs. All of these people he fired. He's not getting rid of the waste and fraud. He's not getting rid of anything. The poor people still gonna be poor. Like they
Well, when you say he's not getting rid of the waste and fraud, that's why I said if he can fire all these people and the government still runs effectively, then that means everybody he fired kind of was waste, not fraud, but they were waste.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that I can have a job with 10 people, and if I fire 5 of them, and we can still just make ends meet, that proves the other 5 people didn't have value.
Really?
What?
I mean, let's just be real. Let's say, for instance, you got a.
Everything should be on a shoestring budget. Everybody should be to the point where they're working their fingers to the bone. They can't take leave because they done took on the work of the other 5 people. No, I don't believe that's good because the government is a non-for-profit.
Okay. Well,
if you're saying should it work in a way where the government itself is turning a profit? Well, yeah. If you believe that's a better United States because now we're turning a profit, but at the end of the day, we're never going to see the damn money ourselves.
Well, that's my issue is that if you're saving us billions, trillions of dollars, whatever the number is, and we don't see it as individuals, then to me it's all for naught. But what if he does, let's say the $5,000 stimulus check? Does he get any credit for that?
Hell no. No, you can't tell me that all of the tax money that I put into the government and that somebody took that money and misused it. Now you found it and you're going to give some of it back to me. If you're going to do something with it, pay down the damn debt.
Fuck that. I won't. Wait. You would rather they pay down the debt than send you a check for $5,000?
Isn't that the whole reason behind this is because we in too much debt?
I need that 5 G's. I need that money. You can use your part to pay down the debt. I need that 5 G's.
Hey, look, if he sent me the 5 G's, of course I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it in.
What if you received a study? Okay, let's say they sent you something in the mail. And this is for my viewers also. I want you to answer this question. They sent you something in the mail, said we saved all of this money and we're deciding what to do with it. Should we put it in the federal coffers so that if we have an emergency or whatever, we prepared? Or would you like a check for $5,000? Should we pay down the debt? Should we pay down the debt as you suggested? Or would you like the $5,000? I want to know in my comment section, debt or $5,000? How would you answer a study like that?
Come on, man. You can't ask a bunch of people would they rather have $5,000 or not. I'm using their rationale. They're saying we're so far in debt, it's screwing the whole country. And it's making things worse for everybody. So either you care about that or you don't. But if we're gonna say we don't give a damn, then we just all gonna say we don't give a damn. Then why do we argue?
You sure you not changing your tune? I got a viewer right now watching says fucking clown says he don't want the money. Now he's gonna take it. You sure you ain't changing your tune on this $5,000?
No, look, of course if they send me the money, but if I had a vote to listen, the $5,000 is not gonna help me or hurt me. I'm talking from a personal perspective because everybody ain't broke.
True.
Everybody.
True.
Some people want the best thing for the country. And if all of the Republicans and all MAGA been crying the whole damn time is that, oh, he spent too much money on the infrastructure bill. He spent too much money on the PACT Act. He spent too much money. They trying to claw all of that money back when all of that was going to us, the people.
Okay, you say some people. You say some people ain't broke and some people want what's best for the country. I don't know anybody like that. I'll tell you, because the people I know are either broke or they're wealthy and they still want to pay less fucking taxes as they can. Ain't nobody giving a damn about the country. Everybody wants the country to do fine with somebody else paying for it, whether they got money or not. The poor people want the rich.
Maybe I'm not.
Go ahead.
Maybe I'm the only one you know like that. Then.
There you go. Because the poor people,
I'll take that.
the poor people want the rich to pay more, and the rich people want a tax break and more of the tax burden to be put on the poor. So there is nobody that cares about the country more than their own pocket, except for you, Dick Cal. I gotta move it on. No, you the first one. You're the only one.
Have you heard? Have you heard the other people, the other richest people in the world say, look, we get far too many tax breaks, but of course they run corporations, and so they're gonna do what they're gonna do what their accountants say to do to get the tax advantages and stuff. Like everybody, like I don't know. I mean, is it patriotic to not give a shit?
I just saw motherfuckers beat the hell out of some cops and get called patriots. So I don't know what the term mean anymore. I mean, I just saw them go in the Capitol building and beat the hell out of some police officers and get called patriots. So I don't know what the term mean. Did Cal? You know how it go. Appreciate it.
And the more I talk to you, the more, I don't give a fuck either. But
Damn, that wasn't the goal. That was not the goal. All right. Moving on with the program. Damn. I've been known to sway a few opinions, but not my boy Dencal. Not Dencal. That's military. That's a veteran. Thank you for your service, Dencal. Thank you for the support as well. Stevie D. Appreciate it, Stevie. Thank you for the support. Sean B says, Republicans control the purse. That is true. And he concludes by saying, we ain't getting shit. So in other words, the 5Gs ain't happening. Now, Trump and Elon, they have talked about it. They talked about it. I don't know if it's going to go any further than that, but they have talked about it. By the way, folks, if you enjoy this type of dialogue, open dialogue from all sides of the aisle, we're here generally Monday through Friday. If you favor this type of dialogue, show your boys some love. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, my YouTube horizontal, YouTube vertical. Feel free to follow if you're on TikTok or Instagram, which we are on all of those platforms live every show. So feel free to follow if you're on one of those platforms. If you want to call in, by the way, and you want to tear to host a new one or agree with some of what may have been said, you certainly can come on Instagram or TikTok and we'll bring you right up. Looking in the comments, Kamala being installed as the Democrat candidate without a primary, so Americans could choose between Kamala or her opponent, is extremely anti-democracy. Yet they lied Trump was a threat to democracy. She was installed. I don't deny that she was installed. But I don't know how that could have been done otherwise, because Biden fucked it up so much. Because the right wanted the Democrats to hold an actual election to pick their candidate. Knowing you ain't gonna vote for no matter who they pick, but you're fighting for democracy for the Democrats. Yeah, right. You just want chaos on the Democratic side. Biden fucked it up by stepping down and leaving the liberals so little time to pick another leader. Remember Governor Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate, saying that we only got 107 days. We can sleep when we die, indicating we don't have a lot of time. Biden should not have done that to Kamala Harris. He should not have done that. Biden should have stuck to his promise of being a transitional president and not ran at all for a second term. That would have gave the Democrats plenty of time to have a primary and not have to install Kamala, and plenty of time for America to get to know whoever the hell that person was. Even Kamala Harris, in my opinion, would have probably done better. I'm not saying she would have beat Trump, we don't know, but she would have done a lot better if she had more time. Because a lot of things like the hyena laugh people made fun of, or I grew up in a middle-class family saying that shit over and over again, or going on a View and saying I would not do anything different from Joe Biden, even though Biden's popularity numbers were in the tank. If you got a year and a half to run, like Trump did, announcing he was going to run for a second term in like the summer of 2023, if you got that much time, you got time to correct shit. Like Trump, I want a total and complete ban on all Muslims entering the country. Next thing you know, when that's unpopular, well, no, I actually meant Syria and Afghanistan. Time to correct it. You got 107 days, you don't get time to correct shit. And that's where Kamala Harris fell, is that you only got 107 days to run. So anything you do wrong, you stuck with it because you don't have enough time to correct it. Trump had plenty of time. So Biden did not help her out by doing that. Looking at the comments, Tim, stop making excuses. She was a black woman. That's why she lost his SGB72. I don't know. Everybody said that Michelle Obama could beat Trump. She's a black woman. I don't know if her being... Look, I'm not going to deny that Kamala Harris's gender and race hurt her. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to pretend like her being a black woman didn't hurt her to some degree. But I do believe that Michelle Obama would beat Trump. So I'm not going to say a black woman couldn't win. But 107 days, and you're going up against somebody that America has known their entire life. Most, if you're my age, 50 some years old, you've known who Trump is since you were a kid. Nobody knows who Kamala Harris is. You got to become known and desirable as a candidate in 107 days over somebody that people have known their whole life. Biden fucked that up. That ain't Kamala. I think Biden refusing to step down and leaving her so little time probably hurt her more than being a black woman, in my opinion. I think he caused her more misery, but I know some of you folks disagree. Look at in the comments. I voted for Obama twice until he got left. Wait a minute. I voted for Obama twice till the left got way too far left. So I landed on the right. Well, Stevie D, I've had a few callers say that. I've had several folks say that. And by the way, tap the screen. I'll tackle your statement. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 70, and then I'll go ahead and take the next caller. Tap the screen, show the program some love. Let your thumbs not be lazy. By the way, smash that like button if you're on YouTube or Instagram as well. It helps out the algorithm there as well. So smash that like button. Show your boy a little bit of love. You're not the only one, Stevie, to suggest that you voted for Obama, then you changed your tune as the left went too far to the left. Transgender issues, maybe you don't like DEI, CRT, whatever you perceive to be far left, socialism, you name it. Taking away gun rights, letting a woman terminate in the 9th month, some of the stuff you guys bring up. But here's my take on that. If you are willing to leave a party because this went too far in one direction, then you're about to become a liberal again. You're about to become a liberal again. Because if you left the left because they went too far to the left, forcing kids to read the Bible in schools, that's pretty far to the right. Some of the stuff you're starting to see out of the Trump administration, considering that he has nobody to stop him anymore, he's going too far to the right. So he's going to overcorrect. So if you left one party because they went too far, you're coming back. Because you're going to start seeing far-right stuff out of Trump. I mean, you got Republican states that are trying to pass laws that, leave a woman qualified to be executed if she's found guilty of having an abortion. That's very far-right. You got folks like the state of North Carolina wanting to deem North Carolina as North Dakota rather, as a Christian nationalist state. That's very far to the right. So you're coming back. If that's what it takes to make you leave a party, you're coming back because they're starting to do that now. Just want to point that out to you. If that's why you left, you're coming back. Looking in the comments, I live in Canada. How are you okay with him wanting to invade my country? Damn, that makes you racist. Mark, you're not talking to me because I'm not in favor of Trump annexing Canada, Greenland, the Panama Canal. What else is he trying to take over? Gaza. I'm not a fan of any of that stuff. In fact, I believe that puts us average Americans at risk. Keep in mind, folks, am I at 70? I'm almost at 70, so I can take the next call. Get the likes up. Tap the damn screen. Keep in mind, folks, when Trump starts taking over Gaza, threatening Canada, threatening the Panama Canal, maybe not as much Greenland, whatever happens with the Ukraine. The point I'm making is this: when he starts creating enemies that want revenge, they're not going to take it out on him. It's going to be you and me. It's going to be people like you and me. It's going to be situations like September 11th, October 7th in Israel. When he deems here's a good example. He's deemed the cartel as a terrorist outfit. Now that means you can use military to go anywhere the cartel is, including in other foreign countries. Sovereign country of Mexico, you're living like the movie Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford. Understand that the cartel is literally all over America. All over America. So they already are in your neighborhoods, in your cities. You start turning these and you combine deeming them as a terrorist outfit with what we're doing and how we're treating Hispanics. You realize how many Hispanics could probably be radicalized right now? You talking about Al-Qaeda and ISIS? You realize how many of these people could probably be radicalized the way we're treating them right now? They're every fucking where. Every little town and city, they're all over the place. I'm not saying the cartel could beat the United States, but they could put us in some hellified misery in terms of guerrilla warfare, terrorist actions, and shit like that. You deem them as a terrorist outfit, they ain't got nothing to lose anymore. Because you're trying to kill them anyway. They ain't got nothing to lose. They could literally create acts of terror all over the United States. So I'm not necessarily jumping up and down with glee that he deemed all of these big, huge, major, multi-billion-dollar cartels as terrorist outfits. They actually can pull some punches. They're not little weaklings that you can easily defeat. They're all over this country. They can easily run up in a few houses, take people out, and take revenge all over the place. And as I stated, the way we're treating Hispanics in this country, and MS-13 and all that, I mean, they could easily radicalize lots more people. Lots more people could feel like they got nothing to lose, or they gonna send me back to Venezuela any damn way, or they gonna do this to me any damn way. They gonna send me to Guantanamo Bay any damn way. I mean, they could radicalize a whole lot of people. Could be a lot of misery behind that. So you gotta think about some of this stuff. You just gotta think about some of this stuff. Looking in the comments, the cartel terrorized Phoenix, Arizona for months. I'm talking about some real terror. I'm talking about real shit, Thomas Clayton. It could get way worse. They have the assets, the finances, the manpower, and the weaponry to do way more than anything you've currently seen in Phoenix, Arizona, or wherever the case may be. I mean, they actually can organize enough to go into a police station and basically take the whole shift out. If they really wanted, I mean, they got way more power than you've seen them express in this country because they've been making a ton of money. They haven't needed to do that. But now when you're telling them they're going to be a terrorist outfit and you're blowing their shit up, taking their money and threatening to kill them all, they ain't got nothing to lose. They have a lot more game they could step up. Just understand it. They can do a lot more damage than whatever you think they've been doing now. Looking in the comments, silence. Biden married the babysitter. Oh my God, how far are you fucking going back? Biden married the babysitter. JFK cheated on his marriage. Why go by that anyways? Candace, marriage is fine. You're bringing up Biden married the babysitter. JFK cheated on his marriage. I guess you don't want to mention the part about Trump saying if his daughter was a little older, he'd be dating her or telling the 10-year-old when she gets to be older. I guess we don't want to talk about that. Just stick to the liberals. Makes a little bit more sense. They have absolutely zero chance against our military, says Cedric. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the cartel would ultimately defeat America. What I'm saying is most Americans cannot stomach chaos like that on our soil. None of us, this isn't a country that is used to having, battles on our soil. We're not used to that shit. You don't have to take a bunch of Americans out before America starts saying, leave them alone. You start beheading a few Americans, you're going to start having Americans showing up saying, we need to end this. We don't have the stomach for that type of chaos. Some countries do. We're not, this is not Fallujah. We haven't seen that here. They can deliver that. And so it ain't going to be an easy pushover because American military, this is guerrilla shit. This is, door-to-door type shit. This ain't something where you can use, F-22s and shit like that. This is going to be happening in the middle of Cleveland somewhere. They're already here. It ain't like you just get to take them out by striking targets in Mexico. They're already here. All over the place. Every city, they're already here. So this could be way more difficult than you may think. And I can tell you one thing, it wouldn't end during Trump's term. It would still be going on. It would not end during Trump's term. When you think about how many Hispanics are here and how many could be radicalized, where you're constantly talking about doing this to them and doing that to them and deporting them and shit like that and pissing. I mean, I'm just simply saying you got to think about it a little bit more deeper than that. So we'll just end it quick and easy. Show them who's the big dog. Okay, Cedric. All right. Okay. Let me go back to the box. I'll give it a year. It'll be over with. You know how many deaths can happen in a year's time? You can win a war and still feel like you lost. You ever watch the Rocky movies? Rocky won most of his fights. Look how he looks at the end, though. That could happen. You can win and still not like the end results. Gerald MC, one of my subs, good evening. Tim playing Divider-in-Chief up there. Alter Ego, I'm just giving you my take on it. Gerald, you think that
What's going on, Tim?
you know what I say, hanging like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So do you think this would be a pushover? Am I getting this one wrong? Is this ridiculous what I'm saying?
Hell no, Tim, check it out, man. Look, guerrilla warfare is probably the hardest warfare to fight because you don't know who's the enemy.
Yeah.
It's not like they lined up over there in the front.
Right.
Like all the Russians over there, all the Ukrainians over here. It's not like that. They your next door neighbor.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. They got stash houses and shit they can activate. You probably got some of them serving in the police force and every damn thing.
Exactly. You got people protecting them that they've been paying for years.
Yeah.
You don't know who they are. If anything was gonna happen to, our dude, they could if anybody I thought would make it take it out, they would.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an enemy you don't want because you can't see them.
Yeah. I don't know why people. I think that America, because of our military might, people don't understand the difference between being able to easily bomb an enemy where you don't give a damn about casualties or anything because they're in their own country versus people you fighting with, like you say, your next door neighbor. The dude at the gas station is one of them. I mean, they every fucking well.
Right, and then if you want to go over to the radicalized Muslim community, or not all Muslims, I'm just saying the radicalized, they don't care about dying.
Yeah.
And how many people they gonna take with them?
Yeah, and that's the point I make. Because somebody in the comments is saying that all hell would break loose, Tim. The American militias would ride on the Mexicans. Mexico doesn't have Air Force. The Air Force. He's talking about the Air Force. He's not hearing what I'm saying. These people are all throughout American cities. The Air Force ain't gonna have much part in this. You can't go bomb Chicago because you can't blow up your own damn cities trying to take out the cartel.
You gotta go in. You gotta fight. Look, I train in urban warfare. It's the worst kind of warfare there is. Cause one, they start shooting. You can't tell where the shots are coming from.
Right.
The echoes are coming from everywhere. You don't know. You can't say, oh, they're over there. Okay, yeah, you might be able to find one, but then you're going to blow everything up. But you fighting on our soil,
Yeah.
they're going to blow up. You're going to kill 15 families to get that one guy?
And that's the point is that urban warfare kind of neutralizes some of your best and biggest weapons because you can't, like I said, the jets, the aircraft carriers, ain't none of that involved in this. The stuff that you really have where the JDAMs and the Moabs, the mother of all bombs, you can't use any of that shit. This is man on man, basically infantry against infantry. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's police station against police station, infantry against infantry, and nobody's got a uniform on.
Yeah, and that's another great point. You're right. I mean, a Hispanic wearing an army outfit versus a Hispanic in jeans, you don't know because both of them may be American.
And all Hispanics don't look like what we think they do.
That is true too.
Dude, I spent some time in Colombia. Shit. You can't.
They look white, don't they? Don't they look kind of like they look white basically, don't they?
Yeah, a lot of them do, but a lot of them look black.
Wow.
There's a whole,
Because of the African slave trade.
Yeah, there's black people in Colombia. There's all shades of people in Colombia.
Yeah.
There's some fine women, but there's all shades of people in Colombia. And dude, you can't tell. You can tell. Like, we went to this golf club, and there was, and only the guy I was with pointed out that guy's with the cartel. The only way I could tell, he was an old dude sitting over a young woman. That's the only thing I could see different from him. He wasn't flamboyant. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't anything. If you looked at him, just looked like a little old man.
Wow.
And he said, that dude right there is in the cartel. He's a dangerous motherfucker. And you couldn't tell it just by looking at it.
Yeah.
But you could call somebody and your life would be over tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, if folks just think to me, the cartel would be probably the worst enemy we could have out of everybody, simply because there's so many of them already in the country.
Right. And the money that they're flowing through this country, that people who are taking their money and using their money, and some people are taking their money, don't even know they're taking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't even know they're using their money.
And my guess is they would have thousands of Americans on their side willing to work on. I mean, obviously the Hispanic community is going to sympathize with a lot of them, but you got folks, like you said, in every hood. I mean, certainly in regards to the drug trade and some of that stuff, their hands are in everything. I mean, so they're everywhere.
And they don't, you see these little movies and things like that. When I'm, and if this guy hadn't pointed out who they were, I would never have known it. They don't dress like you see in the movies. It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
They look like a dude just standing right there, like, hey, he's getting ice cream, man.
Just trying to blend in. And Mike in the comments makes a great point. He says, in their level of violence, we have not seen that on U.S. soil. We accept, and that's what we talk about. You like the Sicaros and all of them. When you talking about actual beheadings and Colombian neckties where they pull your tongue out through the opening in your throat that they slit. The minute that starts happening to Americans, we gonna change our tune about how tough we want to be. Like, look, you need to end this shit. Just like when we had the coalition of the willing that helped us in the Iraq War. Once they started beheading people, a lot of them nations was like, this shit's over with. We going home. I mean, they cutting off heads. We gotta get up out of here. So
They like the movies, brother.
Right. I mean, America doesn't have that stomach. We great with shooting guns and hitting people at a distance, but when you're starting to see, you come out to go to work in the morning, there's a head on the flagpost near you, like, shit. I mean, if somebody got a note saying it could have been your house last night. Good thing you had some good sleep last night, huh? I mean, it's like, shit. I mean, so I don't think people realize what they do, but you go on the dark web, I've seen plenty of terminations. I've seen plenty of actual terminations by them, and it ain't the type of stuff you see over here. It is extremely violent.
While we were there, one of the sons of a lady that she was the maid for the guy that we were staying with. Her son was running money for the cartel, and somehow he lost some money, and they killed him while we were there.
Yeah, and they're often known to go after family members, babies. I mean, all of that Geneva Convention type shit ain't gonna apply in this. I mean, we complained when George W. Bush was waterboarding people and said it was torture. You'll be happy to torture them because they gonna be doing it too. I mean, so people don't realize how cruel these people are.
It was great. We went on these tours, man. We went down and saw all of Pablo's places, and a lot of his henchmen are the ones giving the tours now.
Wow.
and they're just old dudes now, though. They're just old guys, and they're giving the tours now. And then the one guy was telling the story about they had arrested one of Pablo's top guys, and he sent the governor a list of his family, from the grandmother down to the youngest.
Damn.
And said, I'm gonna start killing every one of them until you release this guy. That guy was out in 1 hour.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think. I think, like I said, militia. I'm big and bad. I got a bunch of shit on my shelf. You can fuck around and find out. Like, these ain't them kind of people. These people do not mind calling your bluff. They do not mind that. If you want to fight, these people will gladly step in the ring with you. I mean,
half of them have never been shot at. So if you've never been in combat, you've never had a bullet whiz by your head. That's a whole different experience.
Yeah.
You miss dying by an inch.
Yeah, and they got they got everything from juveniles and little kids that are shooting. I mean, just they send whatever at you. They don't have any problem sending a 10-year-old to take you out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But hey, I want to talk about that thing when you were talking about the government and efficiency and stuff, man. I did a whole paper on that when I was at University of Michigan, and part of the argument was government is inefficient for two reasons. One, you can't run it like a company because you can't go anywhere else if they fuck it up. For the services that they provide, if they say Walmart fucked it up, go to Target.
Yeah.
You can't do it. It's a monopoly. You can only do it there, and there's no incentive to be efficient. Think about this. And the point I made in my paper was that there was an Air Force base. They were talking about closing that Air Force base, and it was the C-130 base in Arkansas.
Okay.
They were talking about closing the C-130 base in Arkansas. I said, think about this. And when I was presenting, I said, think about this. If that senator voted to close that Air Force base in the state of Arkansas, even though it's the right thing for the whole country, he going to close that base, they would hang his ass.
Because all of the jobs and revenue lost in this area. Yeah. That's what's happening now. That's what these town hall meetings are about. That's kind of happening now. Because you got to think, every time you lay off a federal employee, even though people think that that's great and it's saving money, I bring this up all the time. We all got jobs. You know, I go to the gas station on the way to work in the morning. I buy a coffee and a donut. My cardiologist may not like it, but I go out and get something to eat. You know, I stop somewhere for lunch. Every employee when you start terminating these people, well, he can't afford to go to Starbucks in the morning. He can't. The McDonald's that used to see all them come in for lunch, they ain't coming in no more. So that McDonald's is hurting. The Starbucks is hurting. Maybe they stopped off on the way home and bought some. All of them people are hurting as well. That ain't got nothing to do with this. There's casualties all around this, and people don't realize that.
Yep, and I'll give you an example today of something that happened. And I was at my bank, and she was talking to me at my business banker, and I was talking with her about what was going on. She said this ERC money started to flow.
What is
that money? That's back when the pandemic, when you could file if you had if your company was hurt by
like the PPC loan? What is it? PPP loans? Yeah.
Yeah, there was PPP, but then there was also the ESC, earned credit retention.
Okay.
I think employee credit retention, where you didn't have to pay federal taxes on the income that you paid to your employees. You didn't have to match it.
Okay.
And they'll give you a refund on that. So the government's been sitting on it since 2022, 23, and not issuing it. Well, it started issuing it. All that money started coming. And she said her bank had received from all of her clients over $500,000 that they deposited in these checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, these different companies deposited these checks. And the government, 4 months later, pulled it all back. After the bank had cleared all of those checks and deposited that money, and the money has been used and been circulated, they pulled it all back yesterday.
Damn.
So the bank, because after 10 days, the bank has to eat it.
Wow.
The bank has to eat it.
So they were trying to avoid being in that situation.
Well, they can't because it's too late. The money's been deposited. The bank has 10 days to either deposit that money or send it back.
So what you said, the bank is fucked?
The bank is fucked.
And you know they gonna pass that shit on.
Oh, you damn right.
No, they
Well,
gonna
she
pass.
told me they had insurance for it.
Well, somebody gonna pass it
They
on.
had insurance for $500,000.
Right, then the bank, then the insurance is gonna pass it on. I mean, somebody gonna pass that on.
Oh yeah, the insurance rates are gonna go up. It can start a thing, and then a lot of banks are suing now because they're not following the rules of the exchange. So basically, the way it works is you deposit a check, you have 10 days. The bank can do anything within 10 days to pull that money back or deposit it. But after that 10 days, you're clear. You can use your money. You deposited the check. 10 days later, you can use the money, go anywhere. They can't claw it back. But they just ignored that rule that's been going on for years. It's in our system. They just ignored it and pulled it back. Just yanked it back. Just fuck the rules. Just let's take it. What they gonna do? Let's just take it.
Well, we're starting to live in a society now where people feel uncomfortable. Maybe you don't have to pay attention to the rules anymore. I think Trump's kind of laying the groundwork for that. I mean,
Right.
I mean, we're starting. This is definitely a different day and age nowadays. I mean, just it's amazing that how much things have changed in the span of just a few weeks.
I know. But think about this. If the Federal Reserve or anybody, they're not following these rules with the Federal Reserve, think about if you got a refund check. You get a refund check, what do you do, Tim? You deposit the check, you use the money.
Right.
And then 6 months later, somebody comes back and says, oh, no, we want that money back. And they just yank it out of your bank account.
My shit's gonna be negative because it ain't gonna be there.
Exactly.
It ain't gonna be there. You can yank it back. You're gonna have a negative. Damn.
But think about this shit, man. Those are companies. Let's say my company couldn't take, if they took $500,000 out of my company, I'm not making payroll.
Yeah.
So now everybody that works for me is not getting paid. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna quit. They're gonna quit. They're gonna walk off the job. And then there are consequences behind these blatant, just wide swaths of changes.
Right now, here's my opinion on this, and man, I wish I was wrong, but my analysis of this, I don't think I am. I don't think MAGA and Trump supporters give a damn about some of the stuff we're talking about until it happens to them specifically. Even if it happens to the neighbor, it's like, you know, hey, sometimes you lose jobs, you just got to get another one. They don't feel it until it happens to them specifically. Because there's MAGA all over social media crying about losing their jobs and shit. Well, hey, so what? It has to happen to them specifically. So...
Dude, in my career, I worked at a company. I'm going to name the company. I worked at a company called Tokusin USA. And that was the most conservative company I'd ever worked with. Sitting in that boardroom or sitting in there listening to these guys, I'm like, God dang. You know, hey, I ain't going to admit that I'm a Democrat. I'm going to keep that shit to myself.
That might not go well. That might not go well.
They just lost. They just shut down because the tariffs shut them down. The prices hit too high and they had to shut the whole thing down.
Damn.
I was like, I wish I could be in that boardroom now.
Somebody fucked around and they found out. Gerald, I gotta move it on, but there's a lot of people out there like that. A lot of people out there like. Do you think he would still win if they had the re-election today?
Probably, because he hadn't affected enough people. It hadn't come home yet.
I've said the same thing. Until it happens to them specifically, it doesn't have relevance.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Gerald. Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
All right, moving on with the program. Trump ain't shit, says Will G. Says Elon Musk smells like shit. Elon Musk smells like shit. Between Trump selling citizenship for $5 million and Musk ducking accountability for Doge, I'm just waiting for the fire and brimstone. I asked this on last night's show, how many people thought that Trump and Elon would eventually fall out. I was amazed at how many of my viewers do see that relationship ultimately coming apart. I don't know if I'm confident about it because, in my opinion, that's one relationship where it appears that Trump is submissive. As long as you got somebody that's willing to stand down, even when it's two alpha people, I think it can work. I don't think Trump is really challenging Elon. Like, listening to Trump speak, I don't think he was a fan of sending out letters and telling people you got a couple days to respond or you're fired. But Elon said it, so he like, well, I guess based on what he said, I mean, maybe, but I guess you're halfway fired. I mean, he's just letting them do it. So I don't know if I feel confident to say that they're going to have a falling out because Trump is kind of letting Elon take the reins. Now, if he was pushing back like he does in typical Trump fashion, I could see it happening. But I really think that Trump has a lot of adoration for Elon because Trump is money oriented and shit, who else to praise more than the wealthiest guy on earth? So I think that he has a lot of adoration for Elon and he's just going to kind of let him go. I really see that happening. It ain't like he got to worry about running again. So it is what it is. Trump succeeded in every fashion and form. He was able to beat all the criminal charges. He was able to become president again. So any criminal issues he was facing are all now gone. Any money that he may have to pay E. Jean Carroll or Letitia James in those big lawsuits, he's going to make so much money off the second presidency that ain't going to hit him at all anymore or anything. So he's already fucking won. It doesn't matter. He's already won. So I mean, he's almost what? He's almost 80 years old. He's already won. None of this is going to affect him. He's got Secret Service protection for life. He'll be fine. So my guess is, hey, Elon's gonna make sure I'm all good. My family's all good. Gonna give us way more than anything we would ever made on our own in the private sector. Elon is default president, in my opinion. I think Elon is the default president. I don't think Trump is gonna challenge Elon on anything. And if Elon fucks up, I think Trump will do his best to cover for him. Remember, all of a sudden, they started challenging Elon, and Trump started trying to say that he wasn't even the head of Doge. You got some chick that's on vacation, not even in the damn country, don't know what the hell's going on, finding out, well, I'm actually the head of Doge. Trump was trying to defend Elon and say that he's not the head. He don't pick some other chick that ain't even around. She don't found out by social media that Trump just said you the head of Doge. So, yeah, and I guarantee that if that woman went against Elon, she would suddenly find out she ain't the head of Doge. She is not the head of Doge. You ever see the movie Casino? Robert De Niro playing like he was a chef, but he was really running the casino. That's what Elon Musk is. You can't officially give him the title, but he actually has the job. That's what he is. Looking in the comments, no, bro, you fucked up, says MT. Explain. Elaborate on that. Biden's mandated vaccine, thousands lost their job. Biden didn't mandate the vaccine. Well, he mandated it among the federal government, but you can, I mean, like if you join the military, don't you have to get the vaccines? I mean, that happened long before COVID. If you go into a war zone, you got to take shots and things like that. You don't get to say no to that, do you? I mean, we've always done that. That ain't something unusual, something unique to Biden. It just happened to be a different ailment, which was COVID, that you had to get vaccinated for. But you don't get to say no when you join the military. If they want to give you a tetanus shot or whatever, you don't get to say no to any of that stuff. You get all kinds of shots and vaccines when you join the military. That's always been that way. I don't see why you were blaming that on Biden all of a sudden. You have to get a lot of shots. You don't even know what it is, says SGP. Yeah, that's what I was under the impression. What Biden did with COVID that's just one more he added to the mix. But hey, you join the federal government, that's the military. You got to get shots and shit. Looking in the comments though, it wasn't just the military. No, and I don't think if you join the CIA or the FBI, you probably got to get them too. If you're going to areas that may not have the same health equation of the same health quality that America does, you probably get to get shots if you're a contractor, maybe if you're part of the feds, maybe you're part of the CIA. I bet it's probably more than just the military that has to forcibly get shots. It ain't just the military, because that ain't all we sending to these places. Even some of the Peace Corps and USAID people, chances are some of them had to get shots and things like that. Sean B 45, thank you for the super chat, says Elon said no one bats 1,000. That's true. No one bats 1,000. He will be wrong at times, so he can lie at any time. Damn. Could be lying all the time. MAGA doesn't process actual words. Yeah, that's pretty harsh criticism. But look, I'm going to get a little bit of pushback from my liberals when I say this, but I'll give him credit. I'll give Elon credit for admitting that he could actually be wrong sometimes. I actually prefer a politician that is willing to admit he's not perfect. If Elon said, no one bats 1,000 out, because Trump would never say that. Trump doesn't apologize for shit. Even when he's clearly caught saying or doing something wrong, he don't apologize. And to me, that ain't how it should be. He operates more like he is batting 1,000. So, Elon, and I see in the comments, King Finn always says I'm fluffing when I get the other side credit. King, I see you. But no, I like that. I like that. That's one of the things I'll give Elon credit for, even though you say it's fluffing. But I like the fact that he does, that he did admit that. User guy, been holding on. I did want to bring you up. Good evening, user guy. Welcome to the program. This is all the political stuff. We live in the Corporation of the United States Business. What is that? S100 on Instagram. User guy, thanks for holding. Good evening.
What's going on?
Not much at all. So what brings you up this evening? What am I getting wrong?
You've had some liberal all-stars on here tonight, man. You had Den Cal and George both. I tell you what, they outdid any MAGA unit up here.
Explain.
Well, Den Cal, talking about the Budapest Memorandum,
Okay.
the Soviet Union, United States, Britain, and Ukraine, when Ukraine got independence from the Soviet Union in 1994, gave up 1,900 nuclear warheads.
But what were they promised when they did that?
Security.
Right.
Security.
Right.
From the United States.
Right.
From Russia.
Right.
And from Great Britain.
Right.
They were promised security and sovereignty.
So Russia violated that.
The United States is not owed anything. They broke their promise.
Yep.
United States has not provided them anything but weapons. Hasn't given them any security. And it's the Soviet Union that should be paying. They're the ones that's punished. They should be punished. They shouldn't get any territory. They actually broke it when they went after Crimea in 2014.
So why do you think that Trump sees it differently?
Because he's bought and paid for by Putin.
Damn. I was told when Trump came on the scene, the guy had $15 billion, wasn't even taking a salary, that he could not be bought. What say you?
Well, he did. He did take a salary because his tax returns show that he didn't donate any of his salary to anybody else. He can't prove that he donated it.
Wow.
But he also said that he spent his own campaign money. Well, he got all that 100% reimbursed by the RNC when he became the candidate.
You sound like you almost trying to tell me Trump lied.
Oh, come on, Tim. Over 40,000 lies since he became a candidate.
40,000. God damn, 40,000?
Yeah. But here's the thing. You mentioned, Elon admitting that he made a mistake. Is he making a mistake or is he just right out lying about it?
I think it could be a combination of both, but certainly the whole Social Security recipients at 150 years of age are still receiving money. They knew they was lying on that. I'm sure because Elon Musk Elon Musk got a shirt on that says tech support, and you don't know nothing about the issue with COBOL, the programming language, and your shirt says tech support, and you don't know that. You bringing in all these best and brightest minds that are 25 years and under, and ain't nobody told you that? Yeah, that they knew, and they were hoping that you didn't know.
And none of them are accountants. They're doing these audits, but none of them are accountants to do it.
Well, do you need an accountant when you got a chainsaw in your hand? You're not trying to actually do accounting. You're just trying to slice and dice.
You're a lumberjack doing the accountant's job. That's what you got.
Yeah.
But the Social Security Administration is only 90 years old. So a woman that was 340 years old was what? She was 200 years old when she applied.
Yeah, the issue I have with it is this: if you see that there are literally hundreds of people receiving Social Security payments that are over the age of 150, as opposed to going on TV and making it sound like you don't just save us a bunch of money, you should call the cops and see if you could actually hold some of the people accountable and get some of the money back. The fact that they didn't go back, you shouldn't announce it. You should quietly start going after them people and trying to recoup some of that money, whether it's taken in garnishing wages or what. The fact that they didn't do that kind of shows that they knew that this is bullshit and we're going to just throw it out there.
Exactly. They've not named one single name or one single address of somebody that's committed fraud.
Yeah. I definitely believe in that case. They knew that was not accurate information, but they were assuming the American people would just buy it. And apparently thousands of people did, because they're still saying that all of these people over 150. And guess who got chastised for correcting that? None other than Joe Rogan, the #1 podcaster on all of social media. He's now #2 behind the Midas touch, because when he attacked Elon, he lost a ton of subscribers by doing that.
Joe's found himself between a rock and a hard place.
But you shouldn't lose subscribers for pointing out a fact. I mean, if Elon lied about it, or if you think he lied about it, Why can't you say that and lose? Why are you losing subscribers by simply telling how you feel?
Telling the truth these days, man, they don't pay the bills.
Yeah. And I see Alter Ego in the comments say he's third. Now, damn, how many people did he lose?
And see, you go against Magna, you're going out, you're out of luck.
I'll give. This is where I got to give Trump credit, and King and some of the folks are going to call me a fluffer again on this, but he has an incredible amount of power to the point where you are hesitant to criticize him, because even the most highly well-respected people can see their whole empire, their whole career, everything destroyed for simply criticizing. I mean, look what happened to the Cheneys. We're talking about Joe Rogan right now. If you criticize him, nobody can survive that. I don't know any politician or any celebrity out there that has a right-wing audience, right-wing fan base that could criticize Trump and survive and keep their fan base. I don't know anybody that could do it.
And you see what he's doing to the press at the White House. He's kicking them out, and not giving them access to the White House.
Yeah.
It's not going to be long before they start jumping out of hotel windows.
Jesus. I had somebody tell me on the show the other day, you know, the way I interview folks, the way we talk, you need to be one of the folks that fill out the form to see if you can be a press interviewer. They were telling me to see if I could be one of the social media personnels, that ask Trump questions. And I said then that night, I was like, you're not going to be Peter Doocy where you can challenge, Karine St. Pierre with all those gotcha questions he used to do. Like, the Trump administration ain't going to let you do that. If you get a good gotcha question on them, you are not going to return. They're not going to have you back. I mean, they're literally controlling the media. They want friendly people in front of them. They're not going to let you ask them hostile questions.
He doesn't want any fact checkers in there.
Yeah.
That's why he shut down Facebook. Facebook's not allowed to fact check. The Washington Post is not allowed to fact check him anymore. He's trying to do it to ABC if they haven't already done it. CBS the same way.
Wow.
He's trying to shut down the media. But as far as Elon trying to save money, and everybody in the military knows this, the number one program, the top weapons program in the military is F-35 jet. They are $1.8 trillion over budget just on that plane.
And that one budget you're talking about could probably have saved all the jobs they got rid of so far.
Correct.
For that one aircraft, we got plenty of F-22s that could still maintain our air superiority, even if we completely canceled the F-35 program, and you would have kept all of those jobs. That's what I told one of my first callers, is like, firing people should be the last resort. But the right is really gung-ho on a huge military, even if it's excessive, so they don't want you to touch the military.
Exactly right. And here's the thing. If there's a law that's created on the books, there's got to be a purpose for that law being there. It's just like every red light is there for a purpose. It's to try to keep people from crashing. There's a reason for that law. Every OSHA law ever made, somebody died for that law to be created.
Yep. 100% agree with that.
But they're just cutting them without even checking who they are.
Why do you think he's cutting so many people? We know it ain't all about waste.
They're going to replace them with private industry.
So privatizing everything.
Correct. And here's the reason why. Because government entities don't pay kickbacks. Private companies do.
Can we survive 4 years of this?
Well, I don't know. If he doesn't abide by what the courts say, it's over. It's game over.
Shit, who gonna challenge him? He controls the Department of Justice.
He got the Supreme Court.
Right.
It's over. It's game over. Now, if Wall Street hurts enough, the money game, they'll take care of Trump. Trump won't live through it. If he starts hurting Wall Street too bad, they'll flip the cards.
It's got to get all the way up there, huh?
Well, you were talking about Gaza and Trump sending out that video of him taking Trump Gaza and making it,
That was terrible. You talking about the AI video?
Yeah.
Did that come from?
But that's how Trump thinks.
That came from him, that AI. He actually sent that AI video out himself?
Yes. Trump wants that statue. Trump wants to be on Mount Rushmore. I mean, that was 100% Trump. And he had Elon Musk Elon Musk was in that video. Elon Musk was throwing money around. So everybody's getting rich. But here's the one thing he hasn't thought about. Saudi Arabia wants a Palestinian state. Saudi Arabia ain't for this Gaza shit.
I'm telling you, there's gonna be some things in America or around the world that are U.S. interests that go boom. I mean, you're talking about taking somebody's homeland and you're making videos poking fun at it. These people have lost a lot of. I get October 7th never should have happened, but a lot of Palestinians did not have anything to do with that. Young kids and mothers and grandmothers, they had nothing to do with what Hamas did. To be taking their homeland and then making jokes about it, and there's gonna be some shit that's gonna go boom, boom. I mean, that to me, Trump is radicalizing people as we speak.
It's an Israeli real estate transaction. What they've done to Gaza is just the first step. They're trying to take Syria too. And tanks rolled into the West Bank and Gaza yesterday, and the news is not covering it.
I heard about the West Bank, but I think I heard it on Al Jazeera because I listened to a lot of different networks. I did hear, and we knew the West Bank. I mean, because that ain't nothing but a suburb of Gaza. We knew the West Bank was gonna get it because the sentiment in the West, huh?
But it was established as Palestinian territory back in 1948.
Well,
why is Israel trying to take it?
Because they don't want the Palestinians around anymore. If you force Egypt and you force Jordan to take those people, which is what Trump is trying to do, within 2 or 3 generations, they're gone. It's just like, for instance, I was brought here from whatever African country, my great parents were, whatever culture we had from there, it's gone. So yeah, the Palestinian culture is going to be gone within 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 generations rather, if they do that. I mean,
and it's like Dick Cheney said about leaving Iraq. We're going to create a whole lot of terrorists that hate our ass.
This definitely will do that. I got to move it on, use a guy, but that's bleak.
Thank you, Tim.
That is bleak. Always appreciate it.
See you, man.
Thank you. Moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. It's not their homeland, Tim. It was British mandate and then Egypt. How far back you going? It wasn't originally Israelis' homeland either. I don't know. Like I said, the people are there now. You're going to kick them out. You're going to force them to go into Egypt, into Jordan. Obviously, they'll interbreed and mix with the Jordanians, with the Egyptians, and within, like I said, 3 or 4 generations, they're Egyptian, they're Jordanian, and the Palestinians no longer exist. I mean, 100 years from now or even less, the Palestinians will just be gone. That's what would end up happening with that. I can see where people would want to make things go boom. You're destroying their culture. You're literally just wiping their culture out doing that. Handsome, you liberals are always lying, says Domingo whatever. It's a Hispanic name, I think. How do you pronounce the last name? Or Arroyo? Arario? Okay, whatever. But you're saying that you liberals are always lying. Okay, then you got to vote for the Republicans because they never lie at all. Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs and never touched Stormy Daniels. Just none but a bastion of honesty coming from the right. I get it. I'm learning. Teach me. If you don't want the consequences of a war, don't start a war. Unfortunately, Hamas really screwed things up for their people. That ain't how that works, Joe. That's not how that works. I mean, if what you're saying is true, that means if the cartel does something to America, you got the right to just destroy all of Mexico because they're part of the. No, the Palestinians don't have any control over Hamas. Just like the Afghanis don't have any control over the Taliban. You're going to take out a bunch of innocent people because this faction in that country did something you didn't like. That's not how that's supposed to work, unless you just want to be evil about it. Hampshire and the Palestinians aren't the same. Who's Hampshire? All right, let me move on with the program. By the way, Bone Spurs. Somebody put in the comments, Bone Spurs. I know what you're referring to. Continuing on. This is what it says. Elaborate. If you want me to elaborate, if you wait a minute, I might have to put the spectacles on. I don't know why Instagram is so harder to read. That's 100%. If you want me to elaborate, have enough time. You don't have enough time for. I got plenty of time for you to elaborate there. S100, tons of time for that. We live in a U.S. corporation. I don't know what that means, though. I'll tell you that much. I don't know what you mean by that. Going back to the box, one and only Mike. Good evening, Mike. Mike, am I fluffing? I've been accused of fluffing already tonight. Am I fluffing?
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say you fluffing, man. That fluffing is reserved for a special type of person. I'm not gonna say you fluffing, King Ben. I'm not gonna say you fluffing, but hey, again, it's 400. Let's get old Timmy up to 125 Bow Wow.
Thank you.
Tim is really having a problem right now. Tim is really running out of shit to say. To give them credit for, because it's starting to turn out exactly how we said it was, isn't it, Tim? Isn't it, Tim? It started. Come on now.
Let me look. I'm gonna always give Trump credit where I mean, look. At the end of the day, yeah, some of the things are going wrong. But let me tell you something here, and this is something I'm probably gonna end up having a future show on. I haven't talked about it yet, but Trump, the whole rare earth minerals thing. Now it sounds awful to do that. But let me say it this way. Trump may be actually playing what they say playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. Here's what I mean. If we're mining their rare earth minerals, that means you got United States assets and contractors and all that in the country of Ukraine. That kind of helps them in terms of nobody's going to attack them while the U.S. is there. So they're not joining NATO, but as long as you got all of this U.S. equipment there and the United States is making money by ripping them off, so to speak, ain't nobody, you ain't gonna be able to fuck with the Ukraine to any great degree because we're now on the ground there. So Trump is, through a backdoor method, maybe helping the Ukrainians out.
Man, you know how far out on the limb you had to go to get that shit out your mouth. See, I literally sat there and gave you anti-fluffing. I literally was anti-fluffing on Tim, and you went that far. Listen, or it could be what you said, or it could be he's got his hand around Ukraine's neck and saying, if you want to exist at all, you're going to give me what I want, or you won't exist at all. Now, which one of those scenarios, Tim, is more likely? All the fluffery you said, or what I said? Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
Wait, but hold on. I get your point, but that doesn't mean what I'm saying. Your situation is more likely. I'm going to admit that, but that doesn't mean what I'm saying may not be the case. I think 80-20.
I would say 95-5, and that 5 is because I was asleep. That's bullshit. That's not going to happen, because that would say that he's operating on a level of faith or good faith, like he cared about the Ukrainian people, and he's already shown us that he does not.
Facts. Okay, fair enough.
Next topic. Let's keep it moving. The firings with all the federal employees, which is absurd.
Right.
But here's the part that we need to keep in mind. What's the definition of hostile work environment, Tim?
Shit, it could be anything from sexual innuendos, or you got somebody trying to come on to you constantly. I mean, hostility in the work environment can go all kinds of different ways. I don't know when you say definition. I don't know the specific definition of it, but I know what it is.
Do you think that that's what's happening right now in the federal government?
Oh, hell yeah. I've said that several times at the FAA with all of these planes dropping out the sky. I'm not blaming Trump for it, but I'm saying that even if for some reason they actually did fire people and make it more difficult to maintain safety, the people are going to be scared to say anything about it because they don't want to get fired. Yeah, it's a very hostile work environment.
So are the emails going out. That would be considered hostile work environment, right?
Yep.
That would be considered creating an environment where it makes it difficult for somebody to work, and they can claim emotional distress. And the average hostile work environment lawsuit is anywhere between 10,000 to 5,000 that people end up winning, right? This is so public, the evidence is in our face. So it's not like they can say it wasn't happening because it's happening. It's happening in real time.
To me,
Keep that in mind that that's going to happen.
let me just say this in regards to the hostile work environment and people getting fired. Now, some of these folks are suing. I think there's one area where they have a legitimate case, and the point I'm making is this: when he sent out the email telling them they had a time period where they had to tell 5 things they've done, or they could be fired, and MAGA was like, "This is great. We need to make sure they have accountability." I brought this up on my last show that Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, and even Greg Heck, what is his name, Pete Hegseth, all told their staffers not to respond. I think JF or RFK told some of his people not to respond as well. And my whole statement was this: if the statement came from the top, which is Elon Musk, the head of the Department of Global Government Efficiency, if he told them, you need to tell me what you've done, otherwise I'm going to consider it a resignation, and he's the head, then Kash Patel, Hegseth, Gabbard, and all of them that told people not to respond, how are they not getting disciplined? That's clearly insubordination. So if you terminate anybody at the bottom, they should be able to bring up, how did they get a pass? Because they didn't respond to it. They told people not to respond to it. You didn't touch them, but you fired me. So I think if they take them to court, they would have a decent case.
Well, they would. However, I thought Elon wasn't the head of Doge, according to Donald Trump.
If they get, well, then
I hear what you're saying.
yeah, damn who the head is. The point is, if I get fired for not answering this letter, and here these people are that told folks from their departments not to answer the letter, why are they not getting disciplined? Why did they not get terminated? I got terminated for not doing it, but here they are telling people not to do it, and I don't hear where anything happened to them at all. So I think they would have a case on those grounds.
It's a cluster all the way around. This won't end well, no matter what. And people, listen, when I say that, I'm saying it absolute from this. I'm not saying it's not going to end. It's not going to end well. That all these people are going to lose their jobs. What I'm saying is they're creating such chaos. You have to recover from it, regardless. Whether you reinstate these people and they sue for damages, you're still going to be spending more money than you were saying you were trying to save. It doesn't make sense.
Because it ain't about the money. It's about the personnel.
It was about the money for them. It's about the money for Trump and them. It ain't about the money for the people. Now, to the cartel. This is for Stevie D and those in the comments that think that and again, it's not absolute. From a military superiority and to outlast them over time, sure. But that's not what we're talking about. That's just the part they're missing. Tim, we have an addiction issue in this country. 2 or 3 bad batches and unalivings are going to happen. You think it's bad now. You piss them off and let them send some bad work over here.
Wow. That's a great point. Wow. I never even thought about that. That is one way the cartel could strike us back without having to use a weapon at all. Just send a bunch of tainted, stepped on shit.
Just send a bunch of bad stuff over here. You'll be so busy picking up bodies, you won't have time to deal with us.
That's a great point. That's an absolute great point.
And just so people don't get it twisted, addictions aren't just at lower income black, brown people, as we saw Don Jr. checking his gums at the rocket launching. So let's just understand. Let's understand when you're talking about changing somebody's life. When we said this before, when you talk about just saying, well, we're just going to go in, and by the way, the cartels will probably come together.
Oh, 100%. 100% they're coming together. They would be coming together like Crips and Bloods in a Montana prison. Like, we ain't got no choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you take all the cartels together with their net worth, and their net worth is cash, they're not going to a bank, their net worth is cash, and if one of the cartel members gets to a sheriff in Texas that they know they can get to and get to his kids, that sheriff's going to change his tune. People, they're not paying attention, man. They're not paying attention. We're adding all of this into our lives for what? For what? What are we actually gaining? What are we actually gaining? We're not going to gain anything. We're not going to gain anything by this. We're hurting the way we look on the world stage. And again, even if that's the case, you think Canada's just going to respond on our behalf? Or they're going to be slow to move?
The way we've been treating people, ain't nobody going to respond on our behalf.
But again, they may respond. respond. Here's the thing, Tim. They might respond, but if they're slow to move, this is the part that people aren't thinking about. Instead of them responding in a day, they say logistically it's going to take them a week. They can slow play their support for us and still support us at the same time. People aren't paying attention because that's what happens. When you got to pay a bill you don't really want to pay and they call to collect the bill, you like, it's in the mail. You ain't mailed that shit yet, but it's in the mail. Yeah. It'll get there when it gets there. This is what we're doing right now. Mike,
did you get a call?
Okay,
go ahead. Yeah,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Here's a question I was going to ask you because you mentioned it earlier about followers, about subscribers. There's certain things, and you don't have to answer it. There's certain things. If that was your livelihood, there were certain things you wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it is what it is, right? So at the end of the day, we have to get out of this box of thinking that this is not okay. Whatever the right thought they won, and we kept saying, "What'd you really win?" And now you're unwrapping that gift, and it's Project 2025.
Well, but the right is in favor of a lot of Project 2025 stuff, like getting rid of the LGBTQ, maybe the education going back to states' right. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they're in favor of a lot of that stuff.
They played that white elephant gift at the holiday Christmas party and got the wrong fucking bag. They weren't expecting all of this stuff, Tim. They liked the little card on top that said transgender, but they didn't dig deep in the box and say they were taking your job. They didn't go deep in the box and say they were taking your benefits. Yeah. They didn't go deep in the box and say they were taking your Medicare and it is happening. But it's not fear. They say that we've been fear mongering all this time.
Yeah, there's three things that Trump is doing, in my opinion, that the right is not going to like either. And you're right. The firings, certainly the benefits, taking Medicaid, Medicare, healthcare, things like that for poor people. And then, of course, what they're doing with the veterans ain't great either. I mean, he's firing, people that are, certainly got all of the accolade. These people got merit, and they're getting canceled for whatever reason or another. But those things I do believe could come back to hurt Trump, because this is what people are showing up to these town halls and bitching about.
100%. And here's the thing. When's the last time we got an update on deportation numbers?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you before Trump got elected? All you got to do is march a few of them around, and it looks good.
100%.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, and you and I, we were having this conversation, but I said you can only do that for so long, because now we're not even talking about it anymore. It's not in the top 5 things that we talked about in the news in the last couple of weeks.
No. Did you hear that they talking about having an ID or something like that? I don't. Let me see if I can. I want you to hear this if my damn computer don't.
Gold card?
No, that's you're talking about the buying citizenship. No, this is something else. This is not that. This is basically telling the immigrants to snitch on themselves, carry around some kind of ID and register if you're here illegally, so you can avoid potential jail time and fines. So if you're in the country illegally, they want you to register and carry around some kind of card, and so they'll have your address and all. I'm like, you might as well just go ahead and tell them to kick me out. If my computer comes about, because I got the news story on it, it's insane that they would expect anybody to do this shit. But they are doing it nevertheless. I'll see if I can find it on here. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. And while you're doing that, and Ms. Mobetta brought up my last point, which was if you go back to the DNC, when Kamala spoke at the DNC, and all of her campaign stops, and you go back to the debate, everything she said he was going to do, he's doing. Literally, everything she said he was going to do on that stage, he is doing. If you don't believe me, go back and watch her DNC speech when they say all she does is a word salad and all she does is just read off a teleprompter. If you go back and listen to everything she said, and even during this debate, he is doing that same shit.
Now you got me. Now you got me wanting to do that. I'm actually curious to see what was said. But let me let you hear this. This is only, I don't know, it's only a few seconds long, but this is what they're expecting. I'm gonna play it on the tablet because my computer for some reason is in buffering mode or some shit. But let me turn this up here and you'll hear it in a second. Let me see if I can get this.
Will soon be asked to register themselves in a database or face a fine or even jail time over it. The Trump administration is now asking anybody 14 and older and here illegally to provide their name, address, fingerprints to Homeland Security. Officials say they'll be given a form they must keep on them at all times. DHS leader Kristi Noem says they'll be able to avoid criminal charges and will be helped with relocating to their home country with the chance of returning back to the United States. And authorities
That shit ain't, did you, so
Says of returning.
you ain't coming back?
Listen, that's like going to hell. Listen, if you going to hell, one place you're not coming back from is hell.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, but that tells you how little they think about the Hispanic community people to think that that's a viable choice, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to walk people into their own demise. But that sounds familiar too.
You know what I said it sounds like? Give somebody an armband with a Star of David on the arm.
That's exactly where I was going, Tim.
That's what it sounds. Or a tattoo.
Is that fear mongering? Whoa. See, are we fear mongering now? See, the right would think we are. But because they want to be right so bad, they're not looking at what we're looking at. So I'm going to challenge you, Tim, and anybody listen. Go back and listen to what Kamala said. She said it during the debate. She said he's going to tell you. If you remember when she opened up, she told everybody he's going to say this, he's going to say that. But what he really means is this, and this. And if you go back and watch it, it's like, well, I'll be damned. She said all of those things.
I am dying to hear that. When the minute my computer get up, I'm gonna go looking for that. I gotta move it on, but I'm dying to hear that.
Listen, and again, I appreciate you. I know you gotta move it on. I appreciate you. And Stevie D, I'm gonna say this last thing I'm gonna drop. Stevie D, the entire time I've seen you on the live, brother, you said that you were a voter on the left and now you've gone to the right. But I've never heard you represent any left policies when you've been in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation with you, man. Even if it's offline, because I don't see it. I don't see it. But at the end of the day, here's what's going to happen between the left and the right. Us, normal citizens, U.S. citizens, we're going to have to come together because we're going to be fighting for literally our place in this country, period.
That's scary. All right, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. Moving on with the program. I'm looking in the comments real quick. I don't know what I just hit there. Tim, keep him and bring... He didn't mention you at all, MAGA Reacts. You didn't come up. They won't be penalized if they wish to apply later. No, they won't be allowed to come in if they apply later. Draco, ain't nobody believing that. You already see the woman from Venezuela on video talking about how much she loved Trump, with Trump standing behind her, and then later you hear her talking about they used us and they told us they weren't going to go after people, and the Hispanic community is not going to believe them. Let me tell you that right off the bat. You see what happened with Gaza. You seeing what's happening with the Ukraine. Ain't nobody going to believe that Trump is doing what's in the best interest of Hispanics. Just go ahead and register, and you can go home, and you might be able to come back. You ain't coming back. You ain't going to come back under his term. They done made it clear that they want people to stand in line. So you know how long the fucking line is. You ain't coming back no time soon. You ain't, that's not believable. So if you're crazy enough to believe that, then you deserve whatever's coming your way. But yeah, to me, requiring them to carry around a card that says they're in the country illegally sounds like some straight out of 1930s, early 1940s Germany, where they had to wear an armband with the Star of David on it, or they had to wear a tattoo, or they had, you remember the scarlet letter you may have read in school where you put the letter on the person? That's what it really sounds like. You're just branding this person. And I'll tell you this, Tom Homan, or whatever Trump's borders are, he's already made it clear that, the goal is if you're in the country illegally to get you out of here. How long is it going to be before Trump says, these are the easiest ones to get? We got them all on file. We know their addresses. Just why don't you start sending out guys to pick those people up? I mean, they don't give you the address and everything. You literally, by doing what they're asking you to do, is you're literally expediting your deportation process. You might as well just show up to the border, stick out your hand, say, handcuff me and send me home. I mean, that's what you're doing. Why? You don't gain anything out of that. Now, they're suggesting that, if you don't do that, you can face jail time and fines. You don't have any guarantee you're not going to be jailed or fined when they capture you anyway. I mean, if you got stuff in this country, you've earned, you've been working under the table. There's no guarantee they're going to let you keep that money. You've been working under the table. You're an illegal employee. They may take your money anyway. I just think that it's crazy to expect the immigrants, considering how Trump thinks most of them are rapists and murderers, and they're here poisoning the blood of the country. You trust him? This ain't bashing Trump. I'm just saying from a standpoint of being an immigrant, he ain't said nothing positive about your people at all. Nothing. Why would you trust him? He thinks you're eating cats and dogs and shit. Why the hell would you think what he said now is going to be valid? Have you heard him say anything at all that's positive about you if you're in this country in an undocumented fashion? He literally thinks you're going around killing people. So, yeah, if you want to go ahead and trust that, good luck. Chances are by the time you get done filling out the paperwork, somebody's busting in through the back door telling you it's time to go. Looking in the comments real quick. I mean, it's crazy that they even came up with that. I'm just shocked that they would even release that shit. It's gotta be laughable. Patel is going to torture U.S. citizens. Yikes. I hope you're wrong about that. They wanted you to take Trump's perfect vaccine. Oh my goodness. Spark, Trump never used fascist tactics like dictator to force Americans to do something. Biden Harris did use fascist tactics like dictators when they forced Americans to COVID vax or lose jobs. How many countries around the free world force people to take a jab? I mean, that ain't something unique, I don't believe, to the Biden-Harris administration. You think that all of those countries are fascists? If you look up the 14 tenets of fascism, I tell you one thing, it sound closer to Trump, to be honest with you. I wish I could bring them up and read them out to you, but they actually sound closer to Trump's administration than they do Biden and Kamala Harris, excluding the vaccine you're talking about. History never learned will always repeat itself. Wasn't there a Russian leader back in the 80s or something like that said you can destroy the U.S. from within or something of that nature? Maybe further back, but one of the Russian leaders said that the best way to destroy the United States is to do it from within. And hopefully that doesn't happen, but right now we are probably more divided than at any point in any of our lifetimes. I mean, we are only one major powder keg event from people just going gung-ho. This whole cartel thing, for instance, that could easily cause some serious civil unrest in this country. Because if Trump starts, he's already deemed them a terrorist outfit. He strike and hit the wrong person, and they do some of the things that the cartel does in this country, then that means the right-wing militia, now they want to get the cartel. And you know, if the right wing goes after the cartel, there's going to be a whole lot of innocent Hispanics that are going to be viewed as part of the cartel. Anything brown's going to qualify. So now you got brown against white, and then all of a sudden, light brown, light skin is in it. I mean, it could be a mess real quick. It could really be a mess real quick. So I think we're only one major event from that happening now. And I don't feel confident that Trump would stand and promote unity at all. If there is some type of civil unrest in this country, Trump is going to take a side. He's not going to talk about you guys need to come together for the sake of this country. He ain't Abraham Lincoln. He's going to pick a side on that. And to some degree, Abraham Lincoln even picked a side. Real quick before I move on, Obama and Fauci in 2015 went to Wuhan Lab, gave them money, and said Trump would have a pandemic. You can't plan a pandemic. I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know what to do with that. I'll just say this in regards to you guys bringing up COVID. Trump doesn't get a pass. If you want to say the liberals with the vaccine and all this shit, I mean, Trump is on video saying take it, saying it works. He's the only reason you have it, Operation Warp Speed. Why is he getting a pass? He's on most of the shit that Dr. Fauci was telling you to do. Social distance, wash your fucking groceries, wear a mask. Guess who is standing beside him on TV when he's telling you to do that stuff? Voluntarily standing there. It ain't President Biden. It was Trump. So I don't understand how you can take a active member of the Trump administration and view him as giving out all kinds of bad information and separate him from the leader of the administration. Trump could have stopped all of that. He could have took Dr. Fauci off of the COVID task force. Hell, give it to Ben Carson or somebody, whoever else you want to give it to. He was voluntarily going on television with Dr. Fauci night after night. How does he get a pass? If Dr. Fauci don't know what the hell he's doing, and he was working for the Trump administration, how does Trump get a pass on that? You wouldn't give Biden a pass for going on TV with Dr. Fauci. How does Trump get a pass? Somebody got to explain that to me. Fauci was trusted. He was never trusted by the right. They were yelling, fire Dr. Fauci at every Trump rally. And then Trump would be back on TV with him the next day while he's giving out instructions. How does Trump get a pass on that? And this is where I get called, accused of fluffing, and I give Trump credit for it. He can actually hire people that do a shitty job and get no blame for hiring them. I don't know how that works, but MAGA will watch him hire somebody. That person can fuck up, and they will stick to blaming that person and not the guy who, he's kind of new on the job. He didn't know enough about hiring them. He's hiring these people. They're only here because of him. How's he not getting blamed? MAGA can do that. I don't know how that works. King Finn, I know I'm going to be accused of fluffing, so let me bring him up. Let me hear how this works. TDS is real with this one, says Marisol Daly says, I got a strong case of Trump derangement syndrome. User, appreciate the sub. Thank you very much.
Definitely brought the wrong person up there. If you got TDS syndrome, then I must be the TDS source. Because I'm going to tell you now, all you dummies talking about Trump shouldn't have did this and Trump shouldn't have did that with the COVID, y'all can all kiss my hairy black ass. Because I'm going to tell you now, Trump didn't do a damn thing. Trump got up on TV and told you dummies you could drink Lysol and to inject it ultraviolet light. He said you can drink what is that shit he said? Disinfectant?
He said he didn't say Lysol, he said disinfectant.
I mean, come on now, Tim. Let's not fluff with this shit. Since we just don't, be for real. Y'all would rather listen to some dummy who has no idea what the fuck he's talking about than the person who helped us get out of the AIDS crisis. Really?
Yeah, they don't give any love to Dr. Fauci at all. They don't think Dr. Fauci know any damn thing.
You know what? Then they can kiss Fauci's ass. They kiss mine on the way to kiss Fauci's ass. Because the only thing Fauci did was tell you dummies the truth. And y'all stood up there and made him feel like he was going crazy. That man wasn't crazy. That man told you what the hell he knew. He went to school for 10, 12, 30 fucking years to tell you what the hell he told you and got your ass out of it. Now, yeah, Operation Warp Speed was signed by Trump. Yeah, he stood up there with Fauci every day, and then he turned around and discredited him at the damn rallies like he had nothing to do with the shit.
I don't know why I guess because Dr. Fauci just thought he was fighting a good fight, because I'm like, I don't know why you would even continue doing it. I mean, they threatening to kill you and shit. I mean, like, why not just step down?
Said, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. I just said fuck you. Go ahead and did what he did, because he tried. He can't do no more than that. I mean, hell, before Fauci, there was a little book that was in the White House. What was that book called? It was the playbook for any kind of neurovirus problem that Obama wrote. Remember? Yeah. It was the playbook that was there.
He didn't favor any. Yeah, he didn't favor anything left behind.
He favored. Yeah, nobody cared about what he favored, Tim.
He didn't favor anything left behind by Obama. He just did not like Obama.
It's a do and a don't, Tim. There's a do and a don't. If I go to a job and you are the last person that had that job and you write me a playbook, steady right through the job, do you think I'm just going to throw that playbook out?
Well,
from zero?
If you think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, or I ran the country down into the ground like you thought Obama did, yeah, you throw it out.
But the playbook wasn't for Obama running into the ground. The playbook was for a fucking norovirus. Like COVID. I don't know. It's for a doctor. A doctor wrote this playbook. Several doctors helped write this playbook on what to do if this happens. So it really had nothing to do with Obama. Obama was just smart enough to put the shit together.
I'm just telling you think Obama was total trash. I'm just telling you, that's the way he viewed it.
I mean, cool, think he trash, but if we would have had that playbook, guess what? COVID might not have turned out like it did, huh?
I've heard that.
We'll
Yeah.
never know, will we?
But do you put deaths on his hand? I think me and you may have talked about this. Do you actually believe that Trump is responsible for COVID deaths?
Hell yeah, he is. He got just as much blood on his hands as all these people who the MAGA nitties, the MAGA knights, the MAGA morons believe got blood on their hands. Hell yeah, you do. Because if you wouldn't have lied about it and wouldn't go took his special drug, if you wouldn't have lied about it and threw the damn playbook out, if you wouldn't have lied about it and said dumb shit like we can inject disinfectants and pure ultraviolet light into our bodies, maybe the millions of people wouldn't have died. Maybe the country wouldn't have been shut down like that.
Well,
with dead bodies.
Well, how about when he talked about the disinfectant and ultraviolet light, the man was just trying to consider what might help during the crisis. I mean, he didn't know.
You're fluffing. You're right, he didn't know. That's the main damn point we had. That right there, what you just said, repeat that one more time for me.
He didn't know.
Those 3 words, he didn't know. That's the damn problem. He is not the smartest person in the world. He is not the best person for the job. He don't know what the hell he's talking about half the time. And he do shit all willy-nilly. And everybody forgives him for it. Because, he just meant it was the sunshine that could have came through and God would get rid of it for you. Because, he's such a Christian.
How do you think that Trump got so much love and adoration to this level? What did he do?
Well, stupid people like stupid people, so I would think that the people who like him are stupid.
That's a bit of an insult. You think all MAGA are stupid?
Well, I won't say all MAGA are stupid, but the tendency of stupid people are MAGA.
So how do you respond to the folks who might suggest y'all don't even know what the hell a woman is?
Well, that's funny because neither does he.
What the hell does that mean? What does that mean?
What a little girl is.
Huh?
He knows what a little girl is.
Ooh.
He definitely knows what a little girl is.
Ooh.
I don't know if you know what a woman is.
Ooh. And I'm trying to challenge you. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm getting hammered. Big man, you are full of fluff, says Willie. I'm not fluffing.
The fluffer in chief today, baby.
I'm not fluffing. I'm not fluffing. I'm trying to get the.
You got your fluffer out all day.
I'm trying to get the will of the people. That's all I'm trying to do. It's not
The
fluffing.
will of the people don't mean nothing right now because in a minute, the will of the people ain't gonna help shit. You've been talking about it all day. In a minute, the cartels is gonna be the will of the people because he don't know how to close his fucking mouth. Somebody need to go tell Elon. Need to tell punk ass Trump to shut the fuck up. That's what needs to happen.
You disrespect. Wait. Punk ass Trump. You're being disrespectful to the office, King.
So he don't respect the office. He don't respect himself. He didn't respect Obama. He didn't respect Biden. He didn't respect none of the Congress. He don't respect the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States. He don't respect shit. He don't even ask for forgiveness. Why should we respect him? He don't respect himself. He shits on himself daily.
What the fuck?
Why should we respect that man?
Why are you saying the man shits on himself?
Man, you know damn well why I say that. I've been saying that shit for months. Everybody just now coming out talking about he wearing it. That boy been wearing a diaper before the cases. He was wearing a diaper way back when he was golfing. He been wearing a diaper for so damn long. He probably don't even know how long he been wearing a diaper.
So then I'm going to take the MAGA side and push back. How you going to talk about this man wearing a diaper? You didn't say shit when Biden was falling asleep up there.
Okay, and y'all call him Sleepy Joe. But see, here's the thing. If he fall asleep, I'ma laugh. That shit was funny.
But he's running the country.
So he fell asleep.
But wait, the guy's falling asleep. The guy is falling asleep while he's running the country, though. You okay with that?
He fell asleep, so did Trump. Trump fell asleep and farted. No, wait. Let me get it correct. Trump fell asleep in court and sharded on himself.
That's in court, though. Maybe he was tired of dealing with that shit, so he decided to leave some of it out.
Oh, yeah, he did that while he was asleep, huh?
Right. We all fart in our sleep occasionally, I guess.
Fluffing. We don't shart in our sleep. You're fluffing. Stop it.
There's no evidence that he's charged. You make it sound like the guy got loose bowels or something.
Shit, hey, if it walk like a duck, must be walk like a duck, talk like a duck, must be a duck, dog.
But
That's
he,
all I'm saying.
but he can.
And I'm sorry.
I'm watching.
Mad about Biden falling asleep.
How about
Get
this
that
then?
shit done.
How about this then? I'm watching Fox earlier today. They taking count on how many questions Trump has answered since he's been in office, and they're comparing them to how many questions Biden had answered during the same time. Trump is over 1,000 questions he's taken in the media already in his first 5 weeks in office. Biden was at about 143, I think, at this point. Did you not give Trump credit for at least talking to the American people, taking interviews, taking questions?
No, because see, here's the problem. Biden answered those questions to the effect of his knowledge, honestly. Biden didn't just get up there and start fluffing out lies. See, there's a difference. When you're sitting up there and you're answering those questions, you're supposed to be answering those questions to the best of your ability, honestly.
You mean like I'm not gonna pardon my son?
I mean, hey, I don't give a shit he pardoned his son. He should have did shit in the beginning.
But you
I don't give
said-
a shit about that lie anyway.
You said honesty. You said honesty. I'm not hearing honest though. I'm not hearing honesty.
Yup, you're right. You're right. He did lie about that shit.
Okay.
Good on him. Did Trump ever show his taxes? Does that make him smart or not? Because I remember him saying, "Oh, I didn't pay my taxes." That makes me smart.
He said he was going to show him after the audit was over. I guess it's still going
Didn't show
on.
him.
It's a 10-year audit.
Oh, it's 10-year. Oh man, that's funny because the 10-year audit must run the same amount of time as it takes to get the healthcare plan.
Yeah, apparently so. He never did show his taxes, did he?
No,
Yeah.
he's not going to. Because when you do see his taxes, guess what you're gonna see, Tim? You're gonna see Daddy Vladdy's all up in them taxes, dog. Daddy Vladdy's all up in them bank accounts.
What the hell is that? What is that?
Been paying Daddy Vladdy. Daddy Vladdy, boom.
Oh,
Daddy
shit.
Vladdy's all up in that. Daddy Vladdy got Trump on a string, yo-yoing his ass right around. That's why he cool with going to talk to Daddy Vladdy. It's the next part of the program. See, now he got to make Putin and Russia look good to all the Magites, so they can go ahead and think that it's cool to sleep with Russia again, so he can go ahead and fuck up the rest of the country.
Well, we definitely can agree that Trump is very friendly to Putin. There's no denying that. I mean, our relationship with Russia, I don't know if our relationship with Russia is going to get better under Trump, but I know Trump's relationship with Putin is going to get better under Trump. So I don't know. Why is he so favorable to Russia? What has Russia done that would justify us developing this friendly relationship with them? What have they done to earn this?
Tapes. They got all the tapes where Trump been peeing on kids and stuff.
So in other words, you sound like you're starting off with the lyrics, arrest the president, I got the evidence.
Yeah. Though I ain't got the evidence. We got the evidence. Putin got the evidence. Go ask them what they said in that untaped, untelevised meeting they had. Go ask them what they said in that.
You ain't gonna ever find that
Our
out.
presidential leaders have he don't speak Russian, do he? Or does Trump magically speak Russian now?
Yeah, you ain't ever gonna find out what happened. They took one of them, they didn't even have an interpreter. The other one, they took the interpreter's notes, so you'll never know what.
How do you know what Daddy Vladdy said?
Maybe Russia. You know what could have happened? Russia brought somebody that spoke English.
Hey man, put the fluffer down, man.
I gotta go.
I'm sorry, Mike. He brought it, man. Tell Mike to send that bill to you, cause you fluffing tonight, man. I can't help it.
I'm
Sorry,
just coming at you with some logical angles from the other side.
Ain't none of that shit you just said logical. You know damn.
No, wait, hold on. When you said listen, I would not be surprised if Trump doesn't want anything to come out that was said in the meeting with Putin. He's not going to take U.S. interpreters, anybody there that could be subpoenaed or something to tell what was said later on sometime in life, and he could come back to bite him. He could tell Putin, listen, I don't speak your damn language. Send me somebody over here that speaks English so I can talk to you. But it's got to be from your country because anybody from my country could get subpoenaed. So when I said that, I mean that. It could be.
But why? Why would he need to be talking to Putin? one of our known enemies since, I don't know what, the 40s or 50s, the Cold War. Why would he need to talk to Putin about something like that he wouldn't want anybody else to know about it?
You're asking too many questions now. Now you're asking too many questions.
That's weird, ain't it?
That is weird. Well, it was weird. It was weird the minute he met with Putin and they took the interpreter's notes. So it's pretty clear whatever he's talking about with Putin, he does not want it to ever come out. He did that during his last term. So remember when Obama got caught on a hot mic and said some shit like that? You know, once I don't have to worry about running for re-election again, I can do more. I mean, we've always worked with the Russians backdoor-wise, but Trump's just taking it to another level.
Wonder why.
We'll find out. Maybe our kids.
Minds would love to know.
Maybe our kids will find out.
How the hell did Elon just pop up and become, I don't know, the president, the vice president, basically? I mean, wait, no, he'd be the prime president, right? Because Trump is the president, so Elon's over Trump, so Elon's president prime, right? Is that what it is?
I don't know what Elon's position is, but I'm certain he paid to get there. I gotta go, King. Appreciate it. 100%.
Stop the fluff.
Stop it. There's no fluff in here, folks. You know, when I first started this show about 3-4 years ago, I used to have a sign behind that says no snowflakes. I wanted to get a no fluffing sign. We used to have a sign behind the show that always said no snowflakes or no snowflake zone. I think it said something like that. Anyway, looking in the comments, Will G says, let's get this straight. We hired Biden because he was normal. People were tired of seeing Trump every hour of the day, if you remember. That's true. Biden was brought on to, as you say, normalize politics. You know, not, you know, to get away from the chaos. And essentially, as Trump says, make America great again, make politics boring again. And I think that when Trump's term is over, people are going to want that again. Unless he's doing something that is phenomenal for the American people, you are going to get brain drain from politics. In fact, because I talk politics all the time, I get so many people walking up to me at my job, family members and stuff like that. And yeah, they say that all the time. They're getting political brain drain, or they're seeing so much hatred and division all over social media. You post a post about Trump that's favorable to Trump or against Trump, and the comment section is just loaded with people going against each other, just fighting. I mean, so you were probably going to get that under Kamala Harris too, because my guess is Trump was going to say she stole the election. So you're going to have a bunch of MAGA hating Kamala Harris, just like they with Biden. So I don't think if Kamala Harris had won, the division was going to go away, because Trump, as long as he's around, he's going to troll his adversaries. And if Kamala Harris had won, he would be still behind the scenes right now trolling her. He has his own social media account, so he can go online anytime and say some awful shit, and millions of people see it. And then, of course, the media is going to cover it. So he's going to be there. My guess is, and I'm not wishing the worst on anybody, but the division is not going to come into, the unity rather, is not going to come until Trump is out of the picture. So that's not until he really rides off into the sunset or he passes on. You can still get it among Democrats and Republicans. I mean, Ron DeSantis is kind of good at doing it. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, of course, Jasmine Crockett, AOC are kind of good, but it ain't to the level of Trump. Nobody on either side of the aisle is as divisive as Trump is on that level. And plus he owns his own media outlet, which makes it even twice as much, So until he's gone, I don't think there's going to be any unity, because he's not going to take a stance of unity. He's going to be taking sides forever. So get used to it. Get used to it. Jasmine Crockett for president, says KS Cupid. Now, she definitely would have a bullseye on her back. I mean, I got to bring the race up, dark-skinned black women talking shit to a bunch of people. You don't know how to stay in your place, do you, young lady? I mean, that ain't going to go. She would really need a heavy detail. Let's just say she would need a real big security detail. Jasmine Crockett would, if she goes in there talking shit like that. Looking in the comments, and I don't have a problem with Jasmine Crockett. In fact, I like political artifacts. I actually own the bleach blonde, bad built bleached blonde body or whatever. I'm trying to see. I got it around here somewhere, but I actually own that. I purchased that from her campaign, so it's around here somewhere. But I got a few sisters that call in the show that are passionate about their opinions, and man, they get some of the worst hate comments that you can get. And you know, because there's a clip out there. Somebody asked Jasmine Crockett, "What would you say to Elon Musk if you got a chance to talk to him?" And she said, "Fuck off." That's all she said. Definitely need a large security detail. She don't play. Definitely would need a large security detail. But I'm gonna tell you something. There's a hell of a lot of folks on the left that have grown tired of the whole "when they go low, we go high" Michelle Obama quote. There's a lot of folks on the left that want an AOC or Jasmine Crockett person in there that wants that, because obviously Trump has perfected it. Trump is doing really well with going low. And a lot of liberals are starting to suggest that we can't win unless we get in the ring with him and fight like that. So Jasmine Crockett goes low. Jasmine Crockett goes real low. So I don't know. Nope, I'm going to meet you where you are, says Miss Mobetta. Exactly. So a lot of liberals are ready for Jasmine Crockett types. If it ain't Jasmine Crockett, somebody like him. I'm watching, this is probably more for my African American, my black side of the audience here. We all, you know, well, everybody knows who the Breakfast Club is, because this is the place where Biden said, "Vote for me, you ain't black." But my MAGA side doesn't regularly watch watch shows like that. But the guy Charlemagne the God, the guy who Biden said, "Vote for me, you ain't black," he is really anti Hakeem Jeffries for what we're talking about. He too soft. He says that all the time. Like Hakeem Jeffries, who a lot of folks on the left think might be the next leader to take the reins. This guy's way too soft, way too polished. He sounds like Nancy Pelosi or something like that. He's also a big advocate of a Jasmine Crockett AOC type politician. Like we need somebody that's going to, you know, fight fire with fire. And Hakeem Jeffries is not that guy. Looking in the comments, and Nancy Pelosi, he was somewhat handpicked by Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy Pelosi, she is able to go low, but she does it more like, let me see, I'm trying to think, kind of like a Susan Lucci from All My Children type shit. She can go low, but it's going to be in a professional manner. That ain't going to beat Trump. Trump would just get up and say your mama stank. You need somebody that's going to be like that. And Hakeem Jeffries is not that guy. Thinking about it, Trump forces cameras on him like he is an NIL deal and might just have one. And you need somebody that's going to be really good in front of the cameras like that. I mean, Trump is a media genius. Media genius. He know what to say. You know who is also pretty good at that? He's too old now, but he just did it yesterday or the day before. James Carville. He's the Karl Rove, the Kellyanne Conway of the Bill Clinton administration. He's bombastic. He's a bomb throwing up, but he's 80 years old. But he'll get up there and drop F-bombs and everything. James Carville is one of those kind of guys, but he's just, at this point, he's too old to get in the ring and do all of that stuff. Even though Trump is 80 years old as well. Trump just doesn't come across as being 80. So we'll talk about that in a future show. Looking in the comments real quick, Trump calls the paparazzi on himself. Yeah, he's good like that. He's good. Like, he knows how to stay relevant. He knows how to stay in the news. And he lives by the motto, all publicity is good publicity. He knows how to stay relevant. And Elon Musk is learning. Elon Musk is pretty good at that also. And it doesn't hurt that they both have their own social media pages, which is why I stated before that if any chance at all happens where Elon and Trump have a falling out, go get the biggest box of popcorn you can get. Because they both are alpha males. Neither one of them are going to let somebody say some shit about them without responding. So them two going to go back and forth forever. Because they got their own social media pages and they don't mind saying gutter shit about each other. You know when Steve Bannon got into it with Elon and Elon said, "Fuck yourself" in the face to Steve Bannon. Them two, that would be real good media. And I'm sure the liberals would love it. I see you in the comments, Ms. Mobetta said, "I can't wait." It would be real good for the liberals because MAGA got to pick a side. It would divide because some MAGA's going to go with Elon. They ain't gonna all go with Trump. I think more might go with Trump, but there's a lot of MAGA that like Elon. And you see what happened with Joe Rogan. I mentioned that earlier. He criticized Elon's people getting Social Security benefits to 150. Joe Rogan got on his podcast and said, "I don't believe that," and gave the reason why. The COBOL language is the reason, and what Elon is saying is not true. And now suddenly Joe Rogan is like second or third because they don't lost so many MAGA subscribers, so many of them. Wow, crazy. Anyhow, folks, I do gotta step away. I appreciate 128,000, huh? You guys are really showing some love tonight. Thank you for the likes like that. Wow, appreciate that. But I do got to get up in the morning and go work for the man just like all of you do. While I still have a job, thank God I don't work for the federal government. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. You guys have a good night. If you enjoy this type of dialogue, civilized, between all sides of the aisle, MAGA friendly to the core. MAGA are always my preferred guest. You know how we work it. Left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with you. You enjoy this, I invite you to subscribe on YouTube, horizontal, vertical, or give me a follow on Instagram or TikTok where you can find us on every show. It's your boy Tim. I got to go. Catch you guys mañana. And for my YouTube audience, thank you very much as well. Got to step away. Don't know what I'm hitting here.